Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
So live on a Friday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Reese is here. Dylan is here as well. Tim May going to join us at 10:30 from Oakmont somewhere. I don't know where he'll be posted up, and hopefully we have a cell phone. Have we confirmed that he's good and feels like he's going to have? I know he's so excited about it. There's nothing. I love it. I think he might love it even more than I do. Him like trying to.
Nobody loves it more than him.
I think that's fair.
Like I think he loves the challenge of it. And I think it's exhilarating for him to try to find a place where he knows he can get a signal. He likes to text in emojis or at least confirm in emojis. So I got a dancing emoji, a microphone emoji, a check mark emoji, and a thumbs up emoji. So that's about as much confirmation as we're going to get before 10:30 this morning.
I think Tim May likes being Tim May as much as like Jack Nicholson enjoyed being Jack Nicholson. Like, I think it's that much. Like, I think he just adores being Tim May. And I've never heard him ever introduce himself as Tim. It's always Tim May. Always. Every single time. That's going to be great. So he'll be, I love that he fires back to you in emojis. He'll be somewhere at Oakmont. There are no trees, so he's going to have to, I don't know if he's going to hide in the fescue or the rough, but he'll hide somewhere to take a phone call on this side of things. Hey, did you guys know that if and I'm enjoying this. I love this, like that the golf is on at 7 in the morning and away you go, and you've got leaders going, and Koepka's 3 under now, just a shot back through 5. And so that leaderboard's looking pretty cool. John Rahm's playing well now. So it's really cool to be able to watch it. Do you guys know what the tiebreaker rule is for the United States Open?
Ladder match.
If we get to Sunday, it's at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it's tied. Do you know what the tiebreaker, what the extra golf would be?
It's not like a one-hole playoff?
It's not.
Then I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So, do you guys remember when Tiger won at Torrey against Rocco Mediate, and he had on one leg because he had a broken leg at that point? Do you guys have any recollection of that one? It was his last major before the Masters. It was at Torrey Pines in San Diego, and just outside of San Diego, and he won the U.S. Open. And at that time, to win the U.S. Open, you played the 4 rounds, and then you played 18 holes on Sunday. So to win the U.S. Open, you had to play 5 rounds of golf if it was tied after the 4th round. And they played an entire round on Monday, all 18 holes. You run it right back. And it was long, and it was arduous, and it was taxing. And most especially, it wasn't great for TV.
Yeah, it seems really stupid.
Yeah. Well, when they started doing it that way, they weren't worried about TV, right? And then they became very conscious of it because all of a sudden you have Tiger Woods and Rocco Mediate playing on a Monday in the middle of June, the day after Father's Day, and you're like, this is wild that you're getting all this done. And so they said, you know what? It makes quite a bit of sense that we wrap this thing up on Sunday. So if we have a tie this Sunday at Oakmont, what you will see is a 2-hole aggregate. So it's not match play. It's the best score you're going to score over 2 holes. So rather than 18, you're going to play 2, best score win, and then you just keep playing until somebody wins. So that's the format now of the U.S. Open. At the Masters, you just go back to 18 and you play that again. Different courses have different rules for that, and different majors have different rules. But that's the rule for the U.S. Open. The reason I bring that up is what we saw last night in the Stanley Cup, and I actually did see this one, was the best finish that you can have. I don't know if it's the best format because it can last only forever. We saw that in game 2 when it went to the second overtime before we finally got a game winner from Marchand. But when it's over in a timely fashion, it's probably the best way to do it. And there aren't many sports that do it that way, where score over. There just aren't many. I mean, most have some of you get the ball, I get the ball, my turn, your turn, something like that. I think the Stanley Cup has it. I think they do it the best while acknowledging, because it provides the most drama, because there's no cheating it. You have to score. And we play until you do, and that can be all night. And so it provides the most drama, but it's also can be one where, like what happened to me in games 1 and 2, where I tapped out and it was past my bedtime and wasn't able to see it. So I think it wins, and it's probably, if you were to poll what's the best way to finish extra sports, Stanley Cup's probably the best because it provides the most drama. But at the same time, it can go forever.
Yeah, I was almost hoping, and I think it's the conference finals, or it might be the entire playoff series where overtime's 5-on-5 full strength. I was kind of hoping for 3-on-3. I mean, you still got like the frenetic pace, and you got the emotions out of everybody on the ice. Like, everybody's so desperate. Like, even when it's full strength hockey. But I would kind of like to see them go, at least next season, 3-on-3 in the overtime period. Because 11,
just to speed up the. Let's get it moving.
You're going
more ice time.
You're going kind of half a period. You know, Draisaitl gets it, I think, with like 12 minutes into the overtime period. You're looking at midnight, and you're like, well, this isn't great, but this is great.
That's the thing that's tricky for them, is there's no end to it, D.
I'm not going to let you guys bury the lead because, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were there. Don't forget about that.
Enough shots of those two. Come on.
Look, you can't blame the NHL for doing that.
I mean, biggest stars in the arena.
I just brought up Jack. Like, I wonder, were people complaining in the 80s every time they showed Jack courtside at a Laker game?
There was no Twitter for everyone to, combine together. Yes, exactly. But in all seriousness, I mean, last night's game, that was peak cinema, and that's what you expect from the Stanley Cup playoff. It's the best playoff in sports. I don't care what anyone says. I feel like a lot of people have that opinion, but a lot of people are
Why
unaware.
do you think it is?
Because of games like last night, and I mean, it going into overtime, and like you said, the drama of overtime. But think about last night, Edmonton. They're playing the defending Cup champions. They're trying to slay the Giant, right? They go down 3-0 in the first period. I thought it was over.
Me too.
They pulled their goalie.
In fact, I didn't come back until the third. I went away. I missed the whole second period because I'm like, it's 3-0. I don't need to see any more of this.
Yeah, they pull their goalie, quickly get it back to 3-3. And then when they went up 4-3 in the third, you're like, oh my gosh, they completed the comeback. And then when they blow it on the Florida had to go extra attacker, pull the goalie, empty net. They tie it with what? It was like 20-something seconds left.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh no, Edmonton, they blew it. It's over. They're losing this in overtime. And then for them to be able to come back from that, the emotion of coming back from the 3-0 and then the emotion of blowing the 4-3 and then to win it 5-4 in overtime, it's cinema. That's the only way I can describe it.
Buddy, you know what else it is? And it goes to the way that you described it there. Hockey's totally random. It's totally random. You don't know when the goals are coming. They come. Sometimes you get a feel for it. Oh, this rush looks good, or here's a turnover that looks good. But the build up to it it's seconds. It's a half second. It's a second. So you really, if you're invested, you really can't take your eye off it because you don't know when it's going to flip. And that's the one thing that the Stanley Cup provides, is that. And last night was probably the most improbable Stanley Cup final game in recent memory for me, from the standpoint of what you just said. Down 3-0 after what happened in game 3. I mean, that's why I bounced in the second period. I came back for the third, but I bounced in the second because it's 3-0. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch a bludgeoning. I just watched it in game 3. And then Edmonton stood up, and all of a sudden because of social, I hopped on my phone, I checked social, like, this is unbelievable. So I popped back in for the third. I'm like, well, now I'm in, and away you go. But there's a randomness to it. Soccer's like this too. At the highest level, if you get to a World Cup, if you get to a Champions League final, where it's a win at all cost type thing, where there's a randomness to the sport. that you just don't know how the puck is going to bounce. And last night it was pretty good. And it's as good as it gets when it comes to overtime. It really is. You think of the other sports and the way that they do it, almost everybody else has a clock, or you get it, I get it. This is dropping the puck, go, we play till somebody scores. And that can last forever, or in the case of last night, it can last for 12 minutes of the extra session. It was obviously thrilling last night, and it's among the things we will get into here on the program today. Spend a lot of time with Ross Bjork, because my goodness, did he have a press conference yesterday that addressed about everything as directly as you can. What can we glean from that? We will get into that as the show goes along as well. Tim at 10:30 from Oakmont, Doug at 11:30 from his home office. We're off and running here, kids, on a Friday edition. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
This just in from the Lindsay Honda newsroom. It's our big anniversary sale. 0% for up to 60 months has been extended on all new Hondas. Drive a new 2025 CR-V LX all-wheel drive with 0% financing.
Lower your rate, lower your payment.
Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas when you buy now.
With so many Hondas, why would you go anywhere else?
Shop the big, the beautiful Lindsay Honda now. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Excuse me, did someone say jackpot? The Ohio Lottery's Mega Millions jackpot is up to $264 million. You heard that right, $264 million. Jackpots start at $50 million and grow faster than ever. And drawings are every Tuesday and Friday. With the new built-in multiplier, all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times. Play Mega Millions today.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU football insiders. You know, it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move, a pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognize the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's Friday. We have made it to the weekend, and we will see the return of humidity as well as chances for showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. However, if you don't have a shower and a storm, it will be mostly cloudy to even partly cloudy with our highs in the mid-80s. For tonight, lows into the upper 60s with chances of showers and storms, and then we go into the weekend on Saturday with chances of rain in the forecast. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and highs near 80 degrees. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
And join us for the inaugural 971 The Race presented by the Ohio State Medical Center. It's a 5K run, 1 mile walk. It's happening on June 21st at Otterbein. Some of your favorite fan personalities are going to be there. Tyvis will be there. Mann will be there. Bone will be there. Reese will be there. 10 TV's Adam King will be there, running a race in a suit and tie. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, a race shirt, free photos, awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane's. The inaugural 971 The Race is presented by the Ohio State Medical Center and sponsored by Impact Health and Wellness and by the Ohio State Army ROTC. Sign up today at 971thefan.com. Reese, you training?
Yes.
Ready to go?
We'll see. It's always one of those things where I think I'm okay, and I've been doing like 5-6 miles here and there,
Yeah.
but I don't really ever feel confident until like day of race. So,
Is there anyone at this radio station who could be in a 5K who could be within 2 minutes of you?
I think there are several. Like, this isn't going to be, I'm not breaking any time records here.
Well, no, I want you to. I mean, this is your baby.
I can't.
I want personal best.
No. Let's see.
A little personal best.
I've never done, so the 971 kilometers is about 6.1 miles.
Okay.
And I don't think I've ever timed a 6 miler.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I've done a quarter
That's what
marathon.
you're doing? You're doing 6 miles?
Yeah.
Okay, there's nobody here who could be within 2 minutes of you on 6 miles.
I think time-wise, no, probably not. Well, maybe Adam. I don't know what King's...
not in a suit.
Well, I don't know that. See, I don't want to talk any with, especially Adam and Cole, because they're taller than me, and so they've got longer strides. So if they've been training, they'll whoop my ass.
I can't speak to Cole on 6 miles. King's not within 2 minutes of you on 6 miles. I think like if we want to cheat and like Dane Sanzenbacher, I feel like he could. Feels like he would have an ability to run at decent pace for a long distance.
I asked him. He said
doing it, but he would
said
seem
no.
to be.
He had no interest in it. It was funny talking to him about it at the memorial. He's like, "Wait, so you guys are putting on a fun run, and people are going to pay you to go run?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the idea." He's like, "Why do people do that?" And I was like, "Well, it's fun, and it will be fun."
That's like Burgundy when he says apparently they just run for a long time. Soft J. Just run, jogging.
It's more fun, less run. It'll be about partying before and after than the
after, presumably, before you run 6 miles.
It'll
You
be
end up
all
like
right.
Michael Scott after the chicken. What was he drinking? What was he sucking down? The chicken fettuccine?
Yes.
Or no, just fettuccine Alfredo.
Just Alfredo.
Sucking that down. Jeez. Carbo loaded up. All right, look, this was thrilling. It was thrilling stuff. The series is now 2-2. They will do the absurd thing despite having 3 days off in between games down in South Florida. Now they're just off today, flying from Miami to Edmonton, and are going to play tomorrow night. That game's at 8 o'clock. It's a TNT Max production. One of the keys to this, obviously, was the switch from Skinner to Pickard in net. Chris Knobloch, Oilers head coach, on making that change, and obviously it was instrumental.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Stu to be pulled there. Our team was flat. It was, didn't give him any opportunities. Had again taking 3 penalties in the first period, 2 high stickings, which I'm hating. But, unfortunate. We needed to change things up. The change was great, the way he played. Picks made some really big saves. I don't think there was many shots in the second period, but there was a couple of really good quality ones that he came up big with. It was great to see him make the saves when we needed them.
I don't think it was on Skinner at all.
No.
3-0.
They kept getting down a man, and I'm like, well, it's Florida.
Yeah.
You can't give them a man advantage, ever.
It wasn't on him at all, and I thought Gretzky had a great line at the first intermission when he said, look, this would be 6-0 if it weren't for Skinner.
He was getting assaulted.
The first goal was on a 2-man advantage.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many times the Oilers were just getting a man in the penalty box. And it's like, this isn't how you come back from getting your ass kicked in Game 3. And I stayed with the game, even when it was down.
3-0, you stuck.
I stuck
did
with
you stick 2D?
Yes, I did.
I wanted to kind of
God
see the
bless you
bludgeoning.
guys.
Like, I thought that's where we were going. And I'm like, I could stick around for this. This is going to be sick.
I find myself really disliking Florida.
But they rallied, man. Edmonton did. Yeah, they're the worst.
The only reason
they got Bob and Seth, and they're both great, but I just cannot. I just find myself really disliking them.
The only reason why I'm rooting for them is to say that I was right. That's it. Because I picked them before the playoffs started. That's the only reason I'm rooting for them.
That's good. Obviously, down 3-0, back up against the wall, but no quitting the Oilers. Here's Leon Draisaitl, by the way, who is having about as much of a clutch postseason as you can have. He had the game winner in Game 1. He had the game winner last night.
It's hard to describe the situation that he gets put in. Sometimes they're not always easy, right? We're down 3-0. He's coming in. He's cold. It's not easy, and he makes those stops at the key moments that we really need them. And he's one of the best in the league at making the right save at the right time. And I mean, he's been nothing but spectacular for us.
I have a feeling that wasn't Leon Draisaitl.
It was. He was talking about Patrick Picard. Here's
Picard.
Here's Leon on the quit.
Yeah,
and
there we go.
The lack of quit for Edmonton.
I think that's once again tells you that our group never quits, right? I think we believe that no matter how bad it is, if we get over that hump of adversity, we're going to keep pushing, we're going to keep coming, and eventually it'll break. And again, we don't want to be in these situations too many times, but when they happen, I think we're great at it.
Here is Panthers head coach Paul Maurice now on what allowed Edmonton to scratch and claw and come all the way back.
Well, it was just a mirror of the first period. They got into a little penalty trouble there, and we took advantage of it. In the second period was just the opposite. I think we were +3 on the power play side early and -3 on the power play side in the second half, and then we came out and even tight games, right? Both teams had some chances there. Cracked some bars and had some chances that didn't go, and it's a bad break on the overtime winner. So 3 of the 4 games have gone to overtime, and I think that's probably the expectation of what we have going forward.
I really, other than the fact that I'm rooting for Edmonton, even if I weren't, I really want Edmonton to win Game 3, because I would love to see this Florida team with its back against the wall in a Game 6 on their ice. They don't have many instances where they have to do that. Where it feels like the last couple of years with it, because last year weren't they up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup final?
Yeah.
So they've always had house money, always in the final. What does it look like when all of a sudden they're I want to see that Florida team face elimination in Game 6. They're the best team in hockey. They are. This will take. It's going to take kind of like what we had last night for Edmonton, and Edmonton's really good. And they've got the best player on the planet, and Draisaitl's probably in the top 10. But the reality is that I want to see, that's what I'm hoping for. I want Edmonton in the most way to win Saturday, and then I want to see this Florida team have to play desperate and see what that looks like.
I think if that happens, I would be shocked if Edmonton is able to win 2 road games this series. So if they're up 3-2 going into Game 6, I would imagine the Panthers would win, and then we would get the 2 best words in sports, which is Game 7. But what I want to know about Game 5 is who's going to be in the net for the Oilers.
What do you do if you're Knobloch here?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you guys.
Because I don't think it was Skinner. I mean, it wasn't him. I bet they go back to Skinner.
I think so.
Because it wasn't on him.
It wasn't, but it wasn't on him when they pulled him. And then you have this jolt of energy. I know it's just sometimes it's just make a change for change's sake because you have nothing to lose, essentially. But
yeah.
I don't know.
That's what it felt like to me. It kind of felt like we're flat. We're on our heels. We've got to do something to create urgency. And then Pickard was great. But Yeah, I mean, my hunch is they would go back to Skinner for Game 5. I agree with your point 100% on D, though, on the sense of Edmonton must win Game 5 if they're going to win the series, because I don't think they can win 2 in a row, and I definitely don't think they're going to win 2 in Florida. So they have got to win that game on Saturday night in Edmonton. That place will be nuts. But it's a little bit, guys, like Buckeye football, those Canadian home ice places, where, like, if it starts to go bad early, that place gets nervy and anxious in a hurry. And it's not great. It can swallow up the home team. So I would think a quick start would be critical for Edmonton on Saturday night in the Great White North. Ross Bjork had a lot to say. Keeping 36 sports. How are we going to distribute the revenue? They kind of played kingmaker with sports, picking the ones that are going to get money and which are the ones that aren't. We're going to have a little bit of fun and dig in on that coming up next. It's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Friday edition of the program. Ross Bjork, who's the de facto commissioner of the Big Ten, is kind of what it feels like to me. He had a lot to say yesterday in a wide-ranging press availability that they covered on Rothman and Ice and carried on Rothman and Ice. It was a fascinating listen. I learned a lot. I became even more appreciative of Bjork than I had been previously in the direct nature with which he handles his business. And when you ask him a question, he gives you an answer. So one of the things that I have a hard time kind of seeing how they're going to manage this is this idea of keeping all 36. Ohio State is without question the outlier in terms of teams trying to win national championships in football while trying to have all of these other sports serviced as well. Ross Bjork adamant again yesterday. They're keeping all 36. Here he is on that.
That's a priority. That was the starting point, is we will maintain 36 sports. You have an obligation to the young people in those programs. There's a lot of historical programs that compete here. We want to maintain that. We want to grow that. How we spend our money can look different, and that's okay. We'll manage through all of that. But the obligations to those young people, to the fans who support those programs, then you have some legal things, right? You have Title IX. You got to balance all of that. And so the risk profile of dropping sports, if you look historically, is typically not good.
All right, so there's some notes that I have on that, but before we get to it, I think it's going to tie into this next bit where he talks about the distribution of revenue. Remember, it's a minimum of $22 million thereabout next year. Ohio State is going to distribute $18 million of that, and then they're going to have the $4 million that they're going to kick forward, and that number is going to grow over the next decade plus until, well, it's going to grow forever is the reality of it. So here's Bjork on how they're going to distribute the revenue next year.
There's $20.5 million of revenue share dollars that can now be given to the athlete. And as part of that, anytime you add a new scholarship in any sport, whether it's 1, 5, or 91 like we did, that has to count against the $20.5 million, up to $2.5. Does everyone follow that? 20.5, $2.5 million of scholarships. We added 91. So therefore, there's $18 million to distribute to our sports. And so for us, we will allocate the $18 million starting in 4 sports: women's volleyball, women's basketball, men's basketball, and of course, our football program.
All right. So he said something in that first one that I wanted to dig in a little bit here. How we spend will look different in all of the sports. You can have 36, but you're not going to be good at 36. Because there are going to be schools in this country who you are competing against in some of these non-revenue sports. And quite honestly, you'd have to ask Ross. I'm sure he'd give you a straight answer. My hunch is the only 2 sports here that actually make money are football and men's basketball. That's my guess. And part of that is because the women's basketball television contract is not commensurate with what they should be earning based on the ratings they get for the NCAA basketball tournament. So that's part of why they're not. Because quite honestly, the men's basketball program, it's the TV money that really puts it over the top. So my guess is it's just those 2, and everybody else is probably in the red, is my hunch on that, if you were truly to open up the books. So when you say when Ross says how we spend will look different, what the pushback that you would have to this, and this is a question that he's going to have to answer, the board, the most powerful people at that place who make the decisions, Top Gun Ted, everybody. Would we rather have all of these and be middling, or less of these and be great? And try to be great at the ones that we're great at. So the second model, the second part of that is what the University of Texas does. And I keep bringing up Texas because it's the most apples-to-apples athletic department, city, circumstance that you can find in the country for Ohio State. Texas just won a national championship in softball. Texas was the number 1 seed, or they were a number 1 seed in the NCAA men's baseball tournament. They're pretty dang good at track and field. Obviously, they're good at football. They're good at women's basketball. They're good at men's basketball. They compete in those. But they're not trying to be great at everything. They have 7 men's sports. And we're going to put our resources into those 7 men's sports. Ohio State is going to keep 36 sports, and they're going to spread that revenue out. Ohio State has more men's sports than Texas has total sports. Just to give you an idea of just how different those 2 things are being operated. And I don't know which one's right, or I'm not here to tell you which one's right or wrong. It's really in the eye of the beholder, and it's going to be up to the people of power. But they basically what they did, and this is the first time I've heard, somebody bring up the Title IX part of it, and we've talked about the Title IX part of it before. But the reality is they had to pick 2 women's sports that they were going to throw money at. Women's basketball is the no-brainer. For a very long time, women's basketball in college athletics has been viewed as this is the one we're going to spend on. You can tell that in terms of what they pay the coaches here and everywhere else, and the amount of investment in women's basketball. So that one is always there. It always gets moved to the top of the line. And he went on in the press conference yesterday to talk about volleyball and the Big Ten's insistence on the Big Ten importance of volleyball. So this is Nebraska, Penn State. I remember Threes telling me he went and called a game in Lincoln, and they were like lined up watching, or he was having a steak and they were watching the volleyball on a Friday night on BTN. So this is a very Big Ten important sport. So this is Ohio State saying, hey, this sport is important to our league. Let's be good at it. And so my hunch is Ohio State volleyball will be really good really quick, because you're going to be able to offer something that a lot of the places in the country aren't. Conversely, if you play women's softball at Ohio State, and if you play baseball at Ohio State, and some of the other non-revenue sports at Ohio State, and you're not getting the money, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough, and you have to make up for it with NIL and donors and so forth and so on. But the baseline in those other sports is going to be a much more difficult road to hoe than in these ones that they decided to pay. And so that's what this is going to come down to. What sports really matter to you? And what Ohio State said yesterday is football goes without saying, men's basketball goes without saying, women's basketball is expected, but it's going to be volleyball that's going to benefit from this here.
I do think the volleyball thing checks several boxes. The one you mentioned about the Big Ten and the importance that schools like Nebraska place on it, like there's television money to be made there where there probably isn't, in at least not yet in baseball or in softball. And maybe, in the next couple of years, if they're able to elevate some of those programs into national prominence, into College World Series, at least if you're at least competing for those kinds of spots. I know Ohio State baseball is some ways off, but then additional revenue can be earned from those sports so that you don't have to allocate anything, at least not for right now. But what women's volleyball also does is it's an OHSAA sport, so there's a lot of popularity with it in the Buckeye State. And then there's a professional team in town, the Columbus Fury. So
is there?
There is. So
how about that?
Professional women's volleyball team. So that's kind of what I thought yesterday when he'd mentioned women's volleyball, because it had been honestly the first time that I had thought about Ohio State women's volleyball. But then when you do start to think it out a little bit, you go, okay, that makes sense also from a Title IX standpoint. You pick a sport where there's high school importance and there's professional interest in this area to where you can build off of all of that to create more revenue, right? Because everything's about creating more revenue. How are we going to do X, Y, and Z to make up for X, Y, and Z that's not going to be making us money? And so that makes at least the most sense for me. I choose to believe Ross when he says we're keeping 36 sports. I choose to believe he thinks they're going to be great in all of those.
No, they're
at least ambitious. Their ambition is to be great in all of them.
You can't. And that's the thing, D, that's going to be that's really what the question is.
Yeah.
Do we want to be great at this bucket, or do we want to be great at a couple in this bucket and then just participate in a much bigger bucket? That is the question that they decided to answer with choice 2 over choice 1 for now.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about this yesterday, hoping that they would keep the 36 sports. And what came to mind first, I don't know if this is the best example, but John Hopkins is in the Big Ten in lacrosse, right?
Right.
What else are they competing in that we know of off the top of our head? We don't know. I mean, they weren't even that good at lacrosse, but they're historically pretty good.
They're very
lacrosse.
Good historically.
Okay. Yeah. What if John Hopkins decides, hey, we're going to pour just a boatload of money into men's lacrosse, and then it's not an apples to apples competition between Ohio State and John Hopkins lacrosse, and then it's like, okay, now what do we do? And Ross talked about it yesterday. Obviously, we're not going to air the whole press conference again. Someone did ask him about that, and he kind of was like, "We'll cross that bridge when we get to it," because he even said it's an ever-changing landscape. He doesn't even know what he's going to do. Probably as soon as next year. This is
next month.
Yeah, it's just a very this is all very new, and it's kind of you go as it is. But I want to see what's going to happen when these other athletic departments that don't have any sports are able to specifically put money into 2 or 3 sports that they're really going to concentrate on, and how that's going to handicap programs like Ohio State that's trying to keep 36 sports.
I think it's a very astute point out of you. I'm curious about the same thing. So lacrosse is the one that's near and dear to my heart because my kids play it. I thought about Hopkins. I thought about Maryland. I mean, they've won a couple of national titles. If Maryland's like, on our NIL, I think what we're going to do is we're going to be really good at football, men's basketball, and then we're going to give some money to lacrosse, and we're going to make sure that we stay there on that one. And what's going to happen in the SEC? We've already seen this. The SEC's already told you what they're going to do. They're going to play football, they're going to play men's and women's basketball, and they're going to play baseball and softball. And that's where their money's going to go. And so there is no scenario where Ohio State baseball, and I don't know that anybody around here, other people involved with the program, care about it, but there's no scenario where Ohio State baseball can contend with an SEC school in baseball. There's no chance. Some of that's climate, and there's a billion other factors to it. But now with this, where you're saying these are the ones we're going to decide to put money into, that gap is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like you. Like I thought about at a place the big one of this, and I had this conversation with Paul yesterday. What does Kentucky do? What does Kansas do? Kansas has to spend $22 million. how much of the $22 million at the University of Kansas is going to the basketball program, and how much is going to football? If you're at Kentucky, do you take 80? You give it all to basketball? That's all. That's what matters. Rupp Arena's 22,000, man. They're packed 45 minutes before tip.
I guess as long as it's equal men's and women's basketball.
But I don't think it has. See, that's the other thing I don't know about. That's in the weeds. Like when obviously football has so many more athletes on it. So I don't know if it's like total players compensated has to be equal or total sports participated in has to be equal.
The percentage of athletes per team, as long as it's all equal there.
So how do you get a number where football, which has 85 scholarships and 100 people on it, there's not that many people on the women's basketball and volleyball teams combined?
Good news is they have till July 1 to figure that out.
That part I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around that part of it. But I think it's a good jumping off point. I think this thing is going to be malleable only forever. And I think the very simple thing that you're going to have to ask yourself at a place like at all these places is what sports are important to us. And that's going to be different for every single sport. Ross had a lot more to talk about. We'll get to his thoughts on improvements at the stadium, the big noon issue, and it is a big issue. We keep saying it. He reiterated as well. We'll get into that. Get you updated on the U.S. Open happening over at Oakmont coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Did you want information on the Ohio Lottery's Easy Play games? Okay. Easy Play games have everything needed to play printed on the ticket, so you never wait for a drawing. And with Easy Play Progressive games, they can instantly win the game's jackpot, which oftentimes grow and grow to over $1 million. All lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want another commercial? Okay.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, we were talking about you if you could beat everybody here at the Fan in the race. Hunter with this on social. Are we ignoring the fact that Bobby would kill himself running if you challenged him to a race no matter the distance? Put it on the poll. Would Bob be willing to die to beat Reese in you're running the 9.71 kilometer?
Yeah.
Would Bob be willing to risk his own life in order to win if you challenged him? How do we phrase that? I think he would.
I think so too.
I think he would. I think
Reese should actually do it. I think he should.
I don't want anybody to die.
He should go challenge him right now.
Right now. Challenge him to the... So Bob would have 8 days to train to run 6 miles?
He would. So he'd accept the challenge. Of that,
Yes,
I'm
he would.
sure.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm just trying to think. If he went 0, if he just sent it, like if I'm going 100, he'd go maybe 2 miles, and then it would just fall apart. It'd be like you in the 100-meter dash. Like there would be a stretch where you're like, I'm crushing this thing, and then your body would just say, nope.
That's it.
100 meters is a lot further than people think it is.
Tell me about it. Yeah. I know all about it, buddy. You missed that last week when I did that just out of spite to keep my brother from winning our school's male athlete of the year, my senior year of high school. First guy in the history of track and field to hit the wall in the 100. That's this guy.
Oh,
yeah. I do think Bob would. I think he would do that. I think that he would put it all on the line in that way and challenge you. And I do think he'd be willing to die for it. The U.S. Open is round 2 underway over at Oakmont. It's a brute. It's an absolute brute. There's a handful of guys under par. J.J. Spahn ended up 4 under 66. I don't think that'll get touched the rest of the weekend. I don't. I think that was a one-off miracle. The question is, how much of a benefit does it give him? I'll tell you this, Koepka's playing amazing. The dude's just impervious at U.S. Opens. It's just like what he does. Like he's completely unaffected by him. Multiple-time winner, obviously. He's off to a very nice start, and he's 3 under right now, just a shot back. And in terms of guys who are playing, he's your leader. You know the thing that's amazing about this is these are the very best players in the world. And you watch them. I heard this from Scotty yesterday, and I thought about it quite a bit. And what he said is there really isn't much strategy here. It's pretty simple. You get to the tee box. I'm paraphrasing, but he said you get to the tee box, and you say, well, what do I want to hit? And then you get to that shot, and you say, what do I want to hit? Give yourself a chance to try to make par, but that's it. He goes, there isn't a whole lot of strategy to this course. It all kind of lays out right in front of you. The question is, can you hit fairways? And you look at these tee boxes, and you watch it on television, and you view it from their angle, and you say, gosh, there's a professional golfer. Just drive it straight. Just drive it straight. How hard can it be? And I watched the Scheffler group tee off this morning early, and you're looking at where they're teeing off from. You go, that feels like a wide landing spot. And then you watch them hit, and none of them hit the fairway. 0 for 3. These are the best players on the planet. And now some of that, obviously, is the slope of the fairways, and the ball will run off into the first cut. But some of it is they just spray it all over the place, and it ends up in these crazy spots in the rough. And so it's wild as someone who just is terrible at golf that these guys that you look at these fairways and you say, just hit these fairways. They feel like they're wide, but obviously they're not. And obviously the slope and the speed of them is incredibly intimidating. But yeah, it'll be about survival this weekend. Scotty's 3 over as he is 7 shots back. But it's a fun watch. I love an East Coast U.S. Open from the standpoint of I'm up early, so I turn it on and I'm ready to go. So I think that part's pretty cool. And I do think that while I miss the trees on a lot of these old, like what used to be like parkland courses and the way that they look like, and I don't think I would love it as a member to just play a course with no trees anywhere, basically link style course in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. I probably wouldn't love that. I do think for TV it's awesome because you can see multiple fairways, multiple angles. You can kind of see the whole course all at once. They actually on Peacock right now, they have a shot of Jack playing at Oakmont years ago and then Scotty now. And the one from Jack is completely, of course, tree-lined and all the things that go to it. And you watch Scotty on the exact same hole, and it's wide open. So it's a wild juxtaposition there.
As a golfer or as a casual golf observer, I enjoy watching these guys struggle at it.
Yeah.
Like I'd find great entertainment value in that. Do either of you?
Yeah.
Or more so, would you rather see them be exceptional, or do you want them to do you want the course to humble them? Like, what's more entertaining over the course of 4 days for you?
Here's what I like about the majors, and everything other than the PGA Tour has a very specific feel to it. The Masters is the Masters, goes without saying. I know that when I tune into a U.S. Open, I am going to traditionally an old school East Coast country club, golf club, or Pebble Beach, Torrey, place like that, right? And I know, Bethpage, that it's going to be a bludgeoning, that the score is going to be 2 under, 3 under, and that's going to win it. So it's part of the brand of that. And you know what the Open is. I think the only one that really doesn't have an identity is the PGA, and that's probably proven by the fact that they moved it from August to now in May, and it kind of they played it at Quail Hollow a month ago or whatever, and just didn't really have any juice to it. So I like that this is different, Reese, to answer your question. I like it's different than every other thing else we see on tour. I think that part's cool, that you are signing up for drudgery.
Yeah, I'm with Bo. It's like, I wouldn't want to see it every weekend.
Yeah.
But knowing when this event comes up that we're going to get some guys. I mean, the cut line is projected at 4 over right now.
Awesome.
So earlier this week, you brought up 3 guys, right? If you would want 3 guys in the field, it was Bryson, Scotty, and Rory.
Mm-hmm.
3 over, 3 over, 4 over. And I said yesterday, I look at everything through a gambling perspective, and my friends will tell you that I somehow make sports gambling not fun because I'm constantly lecturing them. When you said that earlier this week, I was like, this course is tough.
Buddy,
the field is what you need. Take some longer shot odds besides those 3. But I know there's plenty of dudes out there that were like, let me sprinkle some money on Bryson, Scotty, Rory. How can this lose? Yep. It's Friday, and it looks like you're cooked, and potentially at least one of those guys may miss the cut.
You remember it started off, it was just Scotty versus Field.
Yeah.
And then I added the other guys. Like, it was initially just Scotty. I'm like, this is absurd.
The fan poll had just Scotty, and it was around 50. I don't remember how it finished, but when we updated it, it was 50-50. And I just have to question what some people are thinking when they sports gamble, but I'll digress on that.
They're not, is the answer to it. What is Ross Bjork thinking about the future of Ohio Stadium and what needs to be done? What you could see right away. We will get into that. You'll hear from him on that coming up next. Second hour on a Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Are you looking for an affordable family car? Then the Chevy Traverse is for you. This month at McDaniel GM Superstore, you can get up to $3,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Traverse. Plus, qualified buyers can finance at 6.8% for 72 months. They are just a short drive north of Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of ultimate power with Bosch Power Tools from Menards. Choose from over 75 Bosch tools in stock, whether you need to rip, cut, drill, or drive. Bosch tools provide the power you need for tackling the toughest jobs. Save big on Bosch cordless power tools right now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus and save $40 on any repair of $150 or more. Only at AAA Car Care Plus locations. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer valid through June 30th. See store for details.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth. And you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The Ohio State University ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer's here, and seasonal businesses are hiring everything from hiking guides to surf instructors and more. Whether you're hiring for one of these roles or any other role, you need ZipRecruiter to find qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's smart technology gets to work as soon as you post a job, diving in to find great matches and showing you top picks right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/USL to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Second round action of the 125th U.S. Open rolls along out at Oakmont. J.J. Spahn's the leader at 4 under. He'll begin his Friday shortly after 1 o'clock today. Tristan Lawrence is one back at 3 under. A bogey on 18 as Brooks Koepka at 2 under as he hits the front 9. Defending champion Bryson DeChambeau is 3 over. He'll begin his second round at 114. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler is also at +3. Scotty even through 7 on the day. In hockey last night, Edmonton even the Stanley Cup final with a 5-4 overtime win over the Panthers in Game 4. That series is even at 2 games apiece. Florida heads to Edmonton for Game 5 Friday night. In basketball tonight, the Thunder host the Pacers in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. That series also tied at 2. You can hear it on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Swimming in debt with rates as low as 8.99% APR. Save your summer with a debt consolidation loan. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, hold the phone here. Do we have a new court? Oh, baby. Did they make the court gray?
Or is it anthracite?
No, I think it's gray.
No, they were going to announce that this morning.
No, I think it just dropped 35. I think in the last 3 minutes. I think it's gray.
Oh.
I don't know what to think of this. All right, so I knew that they've been teasing this, that there would be a new court at the Shot, and they've had some of the ones that they've used in the past. So, yeah, I mean, it's gray. The wood's gray. And the Block O is giant. The Block O looks great. I think it's the most underutilized of all of the symbols that Ohio State has is just the Block O. I don't even think you need. Do you guys remember when they paid the consultants to color in the Ohio State?
They had
all
to.
Black in the middle of it because you had to.
Yeah.
You don't even need it. Like, just do the Block O. You don't need Ohio State across the front. You see a Block O in scarlet and gray, you know what it is. So that's in the middle. That looks great. I don't know where I am on the fact that the court is gray. This is going to take some getting used to. I think this is going to be tough on TV.
It's not. I don't think it'll look. I think they'll be getting used to it. Like there'll be a time where your eyes will have to adjust. They do have a interchangeable mid-court logo, so there is the Block O and the Script Buckeyes,
which is great. Both of those are awesome.
So that's one of a kind.
Is beautiful, and the Block O is beautiful. Dylan, are you seeing this?
It took me this long to find it. I just found it, and I disagree with you, Bo. I love it. I think it looks great.
No, I didn't say I didn't love it. I didn't say love or hate. I'm just saying it's going to take some getting used to.
Okay, I'm a fan of the gray. With the Block O. Yes. 100 times yes.
All right. Well, a third of respondents think it's fire. 2/3 say, give it some time.
I got to see this thing on television because the majority of these games I'm going to be watching on TV, and I'm fearful that this is going to be very bright on TV.
This is the color of hardwood that's in 75% of kitchens across America right now.
Gray hardwood.
It's relatable.
I'm sure that's what the $1 million consultant firm came back to him and said, you know what we got to do?
I feel like you get a hell of a deal on gray hardwood. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. All right. Let's go. Let's see what this. Yeah, I want to see it on TV. But I love the Script Buckeyes and I love the Block O. And I anything if one of the things that I think is really cool about Ross is he's doing a nice job of walking the fine line of completely understanding all of the history, but also knowing that you got to spruce some things up a little bit to create a little bit of excitement. He's been adamant about the atmosphere at the Shot and trying to find ways to improve that. There's certain things he can't fix, and we'll get into Big Noon and some of the fact that some of the basketball games have 9 o'clock starts on Peacock when quite honestly it makes no sense to be able to do so in a traditional sense. But he's also willing to, how can we make all of this better for all of you? And in his availability yesterday, he touched on the thing that I think matters most to most people around here, which is the horseshoe. And we've talked about it a lot in terms of what needs to happen to that stadium. Reese wants to bulldoze it.
That might be the only way to truly make it modern. I don't know. But it's going to be a big-time challenge to do it. There's some things that they can do right away, and that's what Bjork is on right now, is how can we make immediate improvements to this stadium and improve the game day atmosphere. Things I can't control, Big Noon. We're going to be picked a lot for that. What I can control is when you get here, how can we make it better? Here's Bjork on that.
We are working on new video board, new LED ribbon boards. Can't happen for this year. Hopefully by fall of 26. So those things are all being sound system as well, a distributed sound system. There's always going to be continued improvements around the shoe, but game day atmosphere, I think, can just take a lift. And it's really about just adapting to the times. It's modernizing, it's cleaning a lot of things up. It's taking our script and kind of making some things shorter, layering, just different elements that I think I really, the plan is really, really strong. And I think our fans are going to gravitate towards it.
Yeah, I think what he wants, what I think the one thing he said that jumped out to me, because my biggest thing that I noticed was the speaker system was so outdated. You really couldn't hear, you really could not hear what was being, like when the music came and it was like, hey, pump up view, a pump up of the team running onto the field and those type of things, it would really be drowned out. So they have got to improve the speaker system right away to make sure that you can create those atmosphere things that you like. One of the things that you see around college football, and it comes from a place that he was just at, they do it all the time at A&M, you play at night, you have those light shows. Ohio State doesn't play at night much and isn't going to play at night much until probably 2029 and that new contract comes out. So you're never going to play a great game here at night. I think that's cooked. I don't see any scenario where you play a top 10 matchup at Ohio Stadium at night for the next 5 years. That's a tough pill to swallow, but that appears to be where you're at. So we have to make the best of what we have to work with here. And so that's video boards, that's ribbons, that's speakers, that's all of it. People are going to say, look, the bathroom situation, it's been brutal forever. Still is brutal. That thing's pretty crazy. There's big time things you got to think about too, and beyond just the game day experience. Like, are we to the point where every seat should have a seat back? Are we at the point where those type of things need to be addressed? All of those things are ever evolving and always there. But for right now, it's about game day experience and how do we make it better. We talked a couple of years ago about how there really needs to be, and these things happen organically, but there really needs to be some sort of, if you think about Mr. Brightside at Michigan, if you think about those type of things that happen around the country in college football, those things typically happen organically, but I do think they need one of those. And they need one of those things that everyone can kind of rally behind. You have Hang On Sloopy, and that's not going anywhere, but you do need a modernized version of that somewhere else within the game day script, which he referenced right there. Here is Ross on improving the game day experience more.
I think it goes back to how do we weave in traditional elements, but modernize music, or when we play certain music, and really have a call to action. We're by moving the band, by the band going to the north, the Block O group expands. So they'll have more in the Block O membership block. So working on elements like that. So it's fan engagement, it's increasing, I think, student energy in a lot of ways, and then it's kind of how we script the game. We're always going to have to do projects around the stadium, knowing that it's an aging stadium, knowing that, yes, we do need to make money. And I think there's a lot more that we can do from that standpoint. But this year we also added 2,000 tickets that don't require a donation, and we lowered the price. So how do we continue to do those kind of things so that we can speak to all of our fans, and that when they walk in there, they're like, okay, I'm coming back.
He's the right guy at the right time. We tried, Dylan, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, we tried a couple of years ago to do all the small things and have that take off. And at the point where it says work sucks, I know, pot it down and say Michigan sucks, we know.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Which would be good. We tried doing it, and we actually got it played in the stadium. And the problem, I think, it was in the middle of one of those scripted, sponsored, here's two guys running in a bubble thing. You know that they do?
Yeah.
Like they have all of those obligations that are sold. And so what he's talking about there is weaving in the script with the call to action, and like all the small things was pretty. I think it would have been nuts if you could have had it kind of coached up, but it was also a little forced. I mean, we just organically came up with it on the show. I want to say the Avs did it, And we were like, that wins. And we were trying to find a reaction to Mr. Brightside with Michigan. So that's kind of how it got there. But I think that's what he's talking about. Because if you sit down on a Saturday night after the college football is played and you see Shipping Up to Boston played at Notre Dame with the lights, you go, gosh, that's great. That's awesome. Those are the things that you're trying to won't back down at the Swamp, like those type of things. Dixieland Delight at Alabama, calling on Baton Rouge at LSU, those type of things. You want to create those type of environments. The sing along, we're all in this together. They saw it firsthand at Oregon. Oregon does it with a little bit softer now. Those type of that's what they're looking for. Can you create one of those things out of clear blue sky? Because that's kind of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a challenge.
And Reeser brought this up about, they have to make money, and you brought up it's in between, all these other obligations that they have to do. And I feel like that's what people complain about. They feel like when they go to the game that they're at one big live commercial.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's going away. And Ross brought up the point of, we could do this, that. We could do this light show or whatever. I don't know if either of you were at the Tennessee game. They had a really good drone show.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is it needs to be nighttime for you to do it. And if you're not playing any night games, that eliminates half the stuff you can do to improve game day experience and make it more entertaining, in my opinion.
Are you suggesting that they're probably not going to write the check for the drone show for a Peacock game against Ohio? Is that what you're suggesting?
At 3:30? I would guess not.
Look,
probably not.
They've got an opportunity here with that OU game, 7 o'clock on Peacock, to have your preliminary fight be Brutus versus Rufus, a callback to 2011. And I'm getting the sense with the new wide ass seats that they're putting in the South stands, and talking to Austin last week on the Saturday show, that they're getting rid of Knockerball. Like, they're not doing the inflatable things anymore, and then they're going to try to figure out other things to do. Well, here's an idea. You have mascot fights. This is the perfect time to open that back up. Round 2, baby.
Start that after Texas comes to town. You don't need Brutus with Bevo. You don't need any part of that. Don't need that.
You might pay some extra to see it.
I mean, Brutus it's going to be a long night for Brutus.
Well, Jackie Moon fought a bear.
He did. I wonder if they're going to bring that sucker up here. Are they bringing that thing?
That's what I was going to ask, if Bevo's even allowed up here.
Well, if you go by Taylor Sheridan's sense of time, it probably takes 45 minutes, Austin to Columbus.
Very quick. You can be
drive cows up here in no time. Whole episode.
One of the big issues, obviously, it's been an issue all offseason, has been Big Noon. Ross Bjork gave you the real truth on what happened, what they tried to get done, and how they have to find a solution for this in the near future. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
The biggest thriller this summer is blockbuster savings at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax for $159 a month. A new 2026 Chevy Equinox, only $259 a month. Or a new 2025 Silverado, lease for $359 a month. This month only at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. N6/30/25.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What?
No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals. a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here to let you know the Clayton Homes Sign and Save sales event is going on now. Clayton Homes is changing the way homes are built, making them affordable to buy and cost less to live in. And right now, you can save up to $5,000 instantly with the Sign and Save sales event. Every Clayton-built home uses quality products from the world's most trusted brands and comes equipped with Energy Smart features for year-round comfort and a lifetime of savings. Clayton Homes are designed with you in mind. Premium features that turn your house into your dream home. Get the luxury, quality, and style you want in a beautiful, affordable home with energy-efficient features to fit your budget. Check out their fully furnished new home models and see all the options available to create the perfect home. With many floor plans to choose from, Clayton Homes is certain they can help you find what you've been looking for. Visit the local Clayton Homes near you or browse their limited time deals at manufacturedhomeoffers.com to learn more. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, SI.com's Bob Herrick joins us from Oakmont, plus Hall of Famer Larry Nelson, who won the Open there in 1983.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick, Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's Friday. We have made it to the weekend, and we will see the return of humidity as well as chances for showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. However, if you don't have a shower and a storm, it will be mostly cloudy to even partly cloudy with our highs in the mid-80s. For tonight, lows into the upper 60s with chances of showers and storms, and then we go into the weekend on Saturday with chances of rain in the forecast. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and highs near 80 degrees. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
And as always, and proudly, we are sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 78 years. We did have a true genius, weigh in on the organic song collaboration that we were hoping for. Our great friend Adam Hines, co-founder at High Bank, and the true genius behind that brand and the beautiful stuff that's in those bottles, did hit me up on email with "Listen to You on the Fan," talking about new music. Always thought OSU should partner with 21 Pilots, use a song from a Columbus-grown band, his 2 cents. Those are the correct 2 cents. It just has to be a song that everybody knows from them, so that we don't, so you don't have to learn something new. So from them, I mean, they got a ton of hits, obviously. I like the idea of that, and I feel like they'd be into it. I mean, they've been on game day. They're pretty jacked up. They were here for the hockey. That feels pretty good. I don't know their catalog enough to know which song I would pick from 21 Pilots. My kids do. They know it. Regardless of what they do with the music, one thing we know that has been a big talking point this entire offseason has been the idea of the noon kick. We know, and we talked about this quite a lot, that Ohio State worked doggedly to try to move that Texas game. Ross Bjork outlined how doggedly and how long that approach went yesterday in his availability.
I think our program, our fans deserve some marquee night games. So we started having that conversation. Texas, in the contract, it goes both ways. They have the ability to approve or not if the game moves off of a Saturday. We asked them. I don't blame them. But those conversations started. We worked with Fox. They were understanding. But really, at the end of the day, there's no flexibility in the contracts. Fox bought the noon window. CBS bought the afternoon window. And NBC has the night window.
He continued on the noon kickoff fatigue. Here's Ross Bjork.
So what we need more flexibility. Can that happen anytime soon? I don't know. But I think every program should deserve the right to have way more flexibility. We have carried the day for Big Noon. There's no question about it. If you look at the viewership, so we understand why Fox went with Big Noon. We understand why we're picked all the time, but we're hoping just more flexibility. That's what we're looking for. And so, I think Commissioner Petiti is going to work with our TV partners. We're going to continue to have those conversations, but can anything change anytime soon? Probably not.
That's tough to take. That's tough to listen to. They misjudged the fatigue of the fan base of playing in that window. They missed it. They misjudged it. And they probably also misjudged, I don't know if they even read the fine print on those contracts that Kevin Warren put together. They were so proud of themselves for having this NFL model of we're going to be on 3 networks and 3 windows and blah, 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 blah. There was no thought to Fox is going to pick first, and they're going to pick first the first 3 times that the draft goes around. And so for sure, Ohio State, Michigan is going to be there, as it should be. That game should always be noon and only forever. But what they missed was that Fox is going to play the hits. And it's one of the things that it kind of dovetails into the Michigan conversation. If Michigan gets neutered, you're going to play noon forever. Forever. Because you added 4 teams on the West Coast that cannot play at noon at home. So in my view, and this really sucks, I don't think you're going to get a top 10 game at night at Ohio Stadium until 2030.
I wonder if when this was
unless it's in the playoff
first negotiated, there was some thought with Big Ten brass that maybe Notre Dame would be in the fold by the time this contract would expire. Because I also think they misjudged just how uninterested the rest of the country and maybe even the world is with 13 of the 14 Big Ten teams at the time, or 11 of the 12 maybe. And just nationally, there's interest in 3. And that wanes because Penn State sometimes, Michigan sometimes, but actually only when they're playing Ohio State. Everything else is
Michigan can carry the window. Ohio State can carry the window. Penn State cannot carry the window on their own. Penn State, what I mean by carry the window is Ohio State and Michigan can play Maryland or Rutgers at noon and get 4 million people to watch. And Ohio State's better at that than Michigan, but Michigan's in the conversation. There aren't many programs in the country that can do that can play at that time, that can do so with any opponent and get 4 million, 3.5 million. I mean, there aren't many. But it's those 2. There's nobody else. For Penn State to carry the noon window, they have to play USC or Oregon. They have to play another brand. They have to play a Wisconsin or a Nebraska, a UCLA, a Washington. By the way, I mentioned all the West Coast teams we added. You didn't hear me mention Minnesota. You didn't hear me mention Rutgers or Northwestern or Maryland or Purdue. Iowa does okay. But that's the problem. There's not enough good football brands in this league who can play at noon. The 4 West Coast can't play at noon. So I got news for you. Penn State's going to be at night. Penn State's going to be at noon. Because the Fox had the top 3 picks, and they took Michigan, they took Texas, and my hunch is they took Penn State. And is that the one where Bjork says, you can't do this to us again, and then Tony Petiti goes and fights for it? I'm glad that Ross is willing to fight these fights. Because as Dylan just mentioned, the Tennessee game was electric. It's an electric factory. And it was cold. It was awful. But it was a spectacular environment. Night brings that out of you. It's a recruiting advantage to play at night. Anybody who says it doesn't matter to play at night, go ask the University of Texas. If it didn't matter to play at night, they would have said, fine, play Sunday night. What do we care? We're going to have more eyes on us. Much more eyes playing Sunday night of Labor Day weekend than we are at noon. That thing would have done 15, 16 million Sunday night. But what did Texas say? We're competing with those guys. We're not going to give them an environment. Why would we give them an environment? No, you make noon work, kids. You signed the contract. That's what the money's for.
Is there anybody in the Big 12 that could? No, I didn't think so either.
Colorado?
No. When they had Travis and...
Too late. Missed it.
It's done.
Missed it. Yeah. When they had Travis. But they can't play at noon either, guys. That's 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, to kind of have a hybrid of both your guys' points, it's like Penn State has to play another marquee.
Ohio State or Michigan.
Yes. Michigan played USC at noon, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Michigan needs to be, like you said, Michigan needs to be good in order to help carry the weight of Big Noon, or they're going to keep picking Ohio State because they have nowhere else to go. The next best program in the Big Ten right now is Oregon. They cannot play a home game at Big Noon. No, you're not getting a 9 a.m. game out in the Pacific Northwest. So this, I think, Ross Bjork is pretty blunt, but
yes, he is.
If he was going to really give the real true answer, is it's going to be there's not enough other interesting programs in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And we took the money already, and we can't change what the contract says.
And we didn't read the fine print, or we didn't understand how much fatigue there would be in playing in this window. They underestimated it. They underestimated the fatigue. And, yeah, there's no way out of it now. There's no way out of it. You're right. The Notre Dame thing, that would have been a way out because they could have shared some of that burden with you. But this is basically Ohio State, Michigan carrying. It's basically all. And if Michigan gets neutered, it's going to be all Buckeyes.
Yay.
All the time. Every big game is going to be noon that's played at the Shoe. So buckle in. You got that for the next 5 years to look forward to. This is one of my favorite hits we do all year. It's Tim May at the U.S. Open. He's there. He's at Oakmont. God knows where he can get reception or under what fescue he's lying under, but he'll join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling, and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, folks, it's Austin Ward here. The new weight loss meds are having results, but what happens after you stop taking them? I didn't want to rent my results. I wanted to own them to keep the weight off. I chose the medication-free solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Excuse me, did someone say jackpot? The Ohio Lottery's Mega Millions jackpot is up to $264 million. You heard that right, $264 million. Jackpots start at $50 million and grow faster than ever. And drawings are every Tuesday and Friday. With the new built-in multiplier, all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times. Play Mega Millions today.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
That lead in is perfect for the fact that every once in a while Tim May would call me General Beauregard, and he would be out on the Western Front somewhere. So he finds himself in the Highlands of Pittsburgh at Oakmont. Where are you, Corporal?
I'm literally right now. I'm out on the back exit of the merchandise building, so I could get some kind of reception. Can you hear me? Okay.
I hear you great.
I love those General Beauregard. We got a manpower shortage over here on the Western Front. We could use some cavalry and a little bit of more cannonballs. That's what they need out here. They need golf ball finders, man. That'll be the new thing in golf, I think, is like a metal detector, but a golf ball finder for deep rough.
What would you for folks who, and there's a lot of folks out there listening who play, and they play at their club or they play at a Muni or whatever.
Yeah.
How would you describe that course to folks who cannot get over there? How would you describe the setup?
It's literally like the fairways and the greens are polished felt. You know what I mean? I mean, and then right off the fairways and the greens, there's one little bitty slice of or path of an intermediate cut, I think is what you call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a 5 to 5.5 inches tall is thicker than a man who's gotten hair implants. I mean, it's like as thick. It's as thick a grass. It kind of reminds you, a little bit from a thickness standpoint of probably what Muirfield was like a couple weeks ago, because it's rained so much. I mean, they had 8 inches of rain. They were saying here just in the month of May, which is obscene amount of rain. But everything's just grown in. But the main thing is, like, I was sitting there, Bo, at the bottom of the first hole, which is the considered to be maybe the toughest starting hole of any tournament in the world, because it's like one of those slip and slides, or one of those slides you get on at the state fair where you go down and keep hitting the humps. If you get to the bottom, coming down, because there actually are humps in it.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of or ridges or cascades, and then you get down to the greens, relatively flat at the beginning. It's got a little bit of a ridge, barely a ridge, and then it kind of slopes away toward the back. So when you watch guys hitting in there, it's like I've equated it to watching an F-18 pilot coming in and catching the third wire, on the aircraft carrier. If you don't catch the third wire, you're going off the back, Yeah. You better have full afterburner at that point. But yeah, it's crazy. And I'm telling you, the course gets no easier from there, because you go from that to staying in the aviation vernacular to hitting up on number 2, which is a shortish par 4, but it's like it's near the highest point of the whole property, and of course it's on the other side of the turnpike, and you literally almost have to have a helicopter to land up there. So it's like you can use all kinds of aviation analogies for this golf course, because they're always putting you to the test when it comes to the landing.
So I love
and then you go up to the top. You just there's one oak tree within the entire golf course. I'm talking about within the course, and it's a lone oak that stands just off the teeing area on number 3. There's like an elbow right there, and then you go all the way up to the very top of the course. That's where the church pews are on that hole, number 3 fairway, and then you get to the number 3 hole. So it's the highest point on the entire golf course, and then going back, you go. The church pews are on your left again, but you're on number 4 going the other direction. Yeah. So by the way, that's where Patrick Reed got his. Got his. His 2. On a
he got that albatross. Tim, it appears to me that, and I know that the total elevation change is only like 70 feet, but it feels on television that it plays a lot more than that.
Yeah, the slope is ridiculous. The stimp meter was basically invented by a guy who played golf here or worked here and stuff, and came up with that idea. But the slope meter had to be the same dude. I mean, it's because the fairways aren't just, they almost all have some undulations out there, or some kind of drop or rise, but even on the ones that are laid out across the hill, you know what I mean, the side of the hill, and they're all canted one way or the other, either left or right, meaning you can't. There are only a couple of fairways here where you could literally hit the ball straight and it would just keep going straight,
Right.
The rest of them. But I'm telling you, Bo, I've never, like I said, the first time I ever saw Oakmont was Tuesday morning, and it lives up to the billing of being the toughest golf course. But boy, would I want to be a member here, except to brag that I am a member here? No. I mean, supposedly the members like the stimp meter to be I think it read 16 yesterday morning. I don't know what it read today because I've been working all morning and get off at 11 and go watch golf. Already met like 5 people from Columbus. Hey, Tim May. It was pretty funny, but it's crazy. But there's a big problem with this tournament this year that they didn't have that they've had in the past, but it's kind of self-inflicted. There are now 2 bridges across the turnpike.
Yeah.
There's 7 holes after number 1, then 2 through 8 are on the east side of the turnpike, and then you go back across, and the rest of the holes 9 through 18 are on the other side, the west side of the turnpike. But I was in a people jam for 20 minutes when it was about 88 here yesterday, waiting to go back across to the east side. I mean, they got to get that figured out. I know a lot of people were griping and complaining about it because it was nuts. But otherwise, yeah, when you're standing here, I got the feeling that Pinehurst and LA Country Club, I was at a pretty nice golf course. I think Pinehurst number 2 is a really nice golf course. The country club in Brookline, Massachusetts, the first time I did this, the original country club is what you want to call it in America, although I think that's been blown up. But the bottom line is it was a kind of a combination. They used several holes off the backside off the next golf course to make it, long enough and all that kind of stuff. But this place, the guy who built this place, he patterned it after golf courses he visited in Scotland when he thought he was dying of some disease a doctor diagnosed him of. Come to find out he was A-OK. But he had sewn all of his blast furnaces and everything and was a super millionaire. This is the only course he designed. And he was used to run a blast furnace or whatever, named Phones, Fownes. And every day he tried to make it harder than it was the day before, as opposed to going the other way,
Well,
so he was not in the catering business.
Yeah, you just said something that I thought was fascinating. It's like, I would love to talk to a member there and be like, do you have fun? Because most people suck. Most people suck at golf.
Of them, actually.
Yeah,
I was hanging out with 2 of them yesterday up by number 9, the green, that green where they have an actual putting green on the back of that green. It's kind of bizarre. Right. But it's kind of cool too, because the number one tee box and number 10 tee box were right there within like 20 yards of the number 9 green. So it's a cool place to get your last putts in. But and they were going, oh no, we love it. And he goes, and this one guy goes, what I like best is I like hosting somebody like you. And he actually invited me to maybe play over here one day.
You got to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it happen. And he goes, we like hosting guys because they're the ones, we just watch them as we play, wow, And I said, but the rough isn't this tall all the time. And he goes, no, it's about 3.5, maybe 4 inches, at the most. But it's so thick. You've been to Muirfield, you've been to Charlotte has that thick rough that when you swing through it, it's like you're swinging through wire. This is like thicker wire, and you saw some guys fall flat on their face yesterday. But here's what I do agree with what the USGA, how they approach this. This separates the great golfers from the good golfers, a course like this, because you got to hit it straight, you got to hit the short grass, and if you don't, you got to be humble enough to take your medicine, And you saw that yesterday with Bryson DeChambeau. Even he had a 6, and he had one of the craziest. He and Rory McIlroy, number 12, had one of the craziest trips you ever saw through the rough.
What's the number that wins this? What do you think the number is?
Well, Spawn had a great day yesterday and had a couple of rough times, but he pretty much hit fairways. If you hit fairways, you can go low. Look at Johnny Miller back in 73. But whatever that was, 72, 73. I think it was 73. But just based on the way things have been going, the first 2 days, I've gotten to watch very little golf, even though we got TV going on in this huge merchandise place. I'm thinking if the rain comes in and stuff, some people think it's going to change and make it be softer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get in a rough, that's going to be rougher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you'll be hitting out of waterlogged grass. So I think single figures wins it.
Yeah, feels that way. Victor Hovland now at 3 under. So he's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? He showed yesterday you can get in a lot of trouble real quick, too, man. It only takes one hole to mess up your day. But I'm thinking single figures, maybe in the 7 to 9 range.
All right. Rank the ones you've been to in terms of if you lived in that. So you did Country, you did LACC, you've done Pinehurst, and now Oakmont.
See, if I lived in L.A., I'd be like Hugh Hefner. They wouldn't let Hugh Hefner join, so he put that menagerie in with all those. Every animal he could find and made loud noises right on the 15th tee box. It's pretty funny. The Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
I would join. I like Pinehurst, but a lot of people down there believe. I think number 4 is the cooler golf course. Austin Ward and I were talking about that one day because he goes down there I think every year. But I would be Pinehurst because you got 10 courses you can choose from.
Yeah, that always helps. That helps.
Play it every day. To play every day, I would probably play the Country Club in Brookline because it was just you could feel when it was built, why it was built, and everything. And when you were there, Pinehurst, of course, was a Donald Ross, and he used some designs he used even at the I think it's called Denison Golf Club now, but up in Granville, he used some of those hole designs for Pinehurst number 2 for several of the holes. But I think you could get used to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could get used to playing that golf course too. But dude, when the step meter's 12, 14, 15, 16, you got to be a really good putter.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. All right. This is one of my favorite hits you do all year round for us is the one at the U.S. Open. Great talking to you, my friend. Enjoy your weekend over there.
It's always a pleasure talking with you. You know that, General Beauregard.
He used to, the great Tim May, the Tim May Show, of course, right here at the Fan. He would just leave me these long messages of the Western Front in that voice calling me General Beauregard. It was absolutely priceless. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy. America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Double your savings with Logan Services. Save up to $3,200 on a qualifying air conditioning and heating system and ask about tax credits up to $3,200. Call for your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
With over 33 years in business, Newman Roofing believes white glove services shouldn't be a thing of the past. From the first call, you'll be greeted with friendly professionals to answer all your questions. Special financing options available now, so call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Learn the game, meet future stars, and have a blast at the Browns Youth Football Camps. In partnership with University Hospitals, the camps kick off Monday, June 16th. Go to browns.com/youthfootballcamps25 to sign up today.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
On Friday, it was reported Brian Rolapp, a, quote, highly respected longtime NFL executive, some consider the potential successor to Roger Goodell, is going to leave his post as the league's EVP to become CEO of the PGA Tour. Rolapp spent 22 years with the NFL. Goodell sent a memo yesterday to all team executives and presidents to notify them of Rolapp's departure. Thing or not a thing?
It's not a thing at all for the NFL. He's... Goodell's going to be there for a while, and why wouldn't you? So he's going to be there for a little bit while. So, and quite honestly, this guy could always come back and be the commissioner when Goodell eventually does retire. This will give him the experience of running another entity. I would not want to run the PGA Tour right now. I think it's a really hard job. I think you've got the live thing that's over it. We're about 2 years removed from like, oh, yeah, we're going to kumbaya and it's all going to work, and nothing's happened. So I think the PGA Tour CEO job is a very, very difficult job. I think that's a tough road to hoe. But so I think that part will be interesting to see if he can make something work on that side of things. But from the NFL perspective, probably not a thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's a thing. I think Roger Goodell has plenty of time left. And I was going to ask you, Bo, how many commissioners do you think people actually like while they're the commissioner?
I don't know that people have a problem with commissioners. I think it's just become cool to boo them at the draft.
Well, I don't. I feel like people say a lot of bad stuff about Goodell and Adam Silver and Rob Manfred, the worst of them. But I just feel like Roger Goodell is doing a good job, and I wouldn't mind him being the commissioner for a while longer. So that's why it's not a thing for me.
Yeah, I think there was a time, maybe like 8 years ago, where there was a lot of animosity towards Goodell because he was dealing with a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with on the field.
Right.
But he's shepherded through that, and now where that sport is, he deserves a great deal of credit for it and navigating the way that he's done it. And I don't have any issue with him or Silver. I mean, Manfred obviously is the one that, and Batman takes a lot of slings and arrows too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I was just wondering when I saw the news, why the hell would you want to leave the NFL to run the PGA Tour? That thing feels like daily disarray, but the NFL's just like...
Hell of a challenge, right?
Yeah, right?
I'm sure the paycheck was there.
The paycheck was probably there, and some people maybe just gluttons for punishment. The latest episode of Bill Simmons' favorite podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, it was not about Jordan Hudson. It was rather about the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti, who might be a bit of an oddball. Pablo says Presti was very interested in acquiring the services of a familiar NBA insider.
A little over a decade ago, he actually explored hiring our extremely plugged-in buddy Brian Windhorst away from ESPN to work as an information guy for the Thunder. And the question of, like, why would he do that? It's because...
Yeah, we got to put up our Windhorst fingers.
Yes, that's right. The reason that Sam Presti considered hiring Brian Windhorst, to kick the tires on hiring him away from ESPN, is that information to Sam Presti is currency. It is an edge, a competitive advantage, and you don't surrender that information.
Thing or not a thing?
I mean, we've seen this before. Didn't David Kahn get hired from ESPN to, like, run Minnesota? Didn't he have some... Wasn't he like a... I think he was like a... I want to say he was something like that, where he was like in that business and then did it. And then there was the other guy who the Memphis Grizzlies hired, John, blanking on it, but he was like an NBA statistical guy that they hired him to be in their front office. So that part I mean, that makes sense that he would want to have insiders. I don't know who would talk to Brian Windhorst once he becomes an Oklahoma City employee. Like, at that point, everybody in the rest of the league stops talking to him, so he's not really going to have those contacts the same. I don't know. What I think is interesting about all of this is there an audience for what he's trying to do? Talking about Pablo Torre.
I think so.
I don't know. To me, it doesn't. I'm not interested. Like, he went so deep on Jordan Hudson, and I'm like, really? It's an old man dating a young girl. Like, is this interesting? Like, he was break. Okay. Oh my God, they were dating in New England in 2021. Who cares? What difference does it make about that? And he tried to kind of frame it on the standpoint of, like, well, it's Bill Belichick with bad decisions about relationships, and so to me, I just don't understand it. So I don't really care about what Sam Presti was going to hire 10 years ago in Oklahoma City. It's not interesting to me, but there is an audience for it. But I think that's the thing that's interesting. His path to this is an interesting one to me.
Yeah, I'm in the same. It's a thing to me in interest. I'm wondering why this didn't come out about, like, Woj or Shams. To me, Brian Windhorst, he obviously has contacts around the league now, but I feel like at first he was just the LeBron guy to most people. And to think that Sam Presti had interest in bringing him into OKC is kind of a weird fit to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were better people to serve that purpose, I guess.
I just think his usefulness would be out as soon as he's hired.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't have any benefit to talking to you as you did in the previous gig, then go ahead, Reese.
I do think with being the LeBron guy, obviously in today's NFL where Rich Paul and Clutch represent so many different athletes.
That's true.
That would be an in that certainly nobody else has. But yeah, to the point of as soon as he becomes an employee of the NBA, who's giving him scoops?
Yeah.
Just real quick, Russell Westbrook's about to become a free agent. NBA reporter Mark Stein says Westbrook will decline his player option with the Denver Nuggets. He's 36 and has played with 5 different teams since being traded by the Thunder back in 2019. This is his 17th season. This was with the Denver Nuggets. He averaged more than 13 points, more than 6 assists, and almost 5 rebounds per game in 75 appearances. It's the most efficient scoring season of his career. Stein says there's a chance Westbrook will return to the Nuggets because they offer him the best chance at a title. Thing or not a thing?
At this point, probably not, but I think he was probably on a short list of best athletes to ever play in the NBA. I think he's got that. He's on that list. LeBron's on that list. He's on that list.
To me, it's not a thing. I don't want to go off the deep end too much. I am the most anti-Russell Westbrook person. I think he's a stat patter. I don't think he adds any value to championship basketball. His days in OKC where he was the Robin to KD's Batman, I feel like that was the peak situation for him, and he has not gotten anywhere close to that. I think he got a sympathy MVP award. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but he might be the worst player in the Hall of Fame when he makes it.
No, there's worse. There's definitely worse players in the Hall of Fame.
Don't you besmirch Bob Cousy now.
In the modern era.
No, I think even in the modern era, there's a couple of guys who got into the modern era that it's like, no, that is not a Hall of Famer. And he is that. I'm with you. I think the stat rings in arenas were a big component of this triple double chase stuff that guys did.
Yep.
And I think that there's no question that he would chase a rebound or an assist. I'm not going to minimize the idea of averaging a triple double. It's crazy to do that, even if you are aware of it. Like, it's nuts to be able to do it. But at the same time, I do think, like, if you take the stat ribbons out, how much of it came in the normal run of play? Probably not a whole lot.
Also,
Final hour. Go ahead.
Sorry. Everyone said he won the MVP because he averaged a triple double. I'm pretty sure he also averaged a triple double with the Washington Wizards, but then for some reason it didn't have the same weight, and we know why it didn't.
Yeah, he did it like 3 times. Yeah. He did it. Yeah. Final hour of the week coming up next. We kick it off with what we learned. Doug Maurice coming up at 11:30. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's your good boy? Oh, who's your?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Summer is officially here, and that means rising temperatures. You're going to be thinking about how you can keep cool all summer long. What's the best plan here? Well, one of the ways you can beat the heat and keep the air conditioning you're paying for in your home is to get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. And now's a great time to do it. They've got a semi-annual sale where you buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows for free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a whole house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It's a deal that can't be beat. You're getting a great deal from Window Nation because they are high-efficiency windows that are also very affordable. They do that by working directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. But don't wait on that semi-annual sale. You buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows free. Free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. You've got to schedule your estimate today. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
It's graduation season. A time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle. And expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Victor Hovland's making a charge in the second round of the U.S. Open. An eagle on 17 as Hovland at 4 under on the day. He's one off the lead for the tournament. J.J. Spaun leads at 4 under. He won't begin his second round until this afternoon around 12:52. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler's 2 over through 10, 5 over for the tournament. The projected cut line's at +4. In baseball Friday, the Reds begin a series in Detroit. Tonight's first pitch against the Tigers is 7:10. You can hear that one over on ESPN Columbus. The Guardians begin a 9-game road trip tonight against the Seattle Mariners at 10:10. In the NHL last night, the Oilers beat the Panthers 5-4 in overtime to even the Stanley Cup final at 2 games apiece. Edmonton's going to host Florida in Game 5 on Saturday. And in basketball tonight, the Thunder host the Pacers in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. Indiana will host Game 6 on Monday. You can hear the NBA Finals and breaking sports news when it happens, all on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
It's really amazing how quick things can change at Oakmont. Victor Hovland, as the Handsome Update anchor there just said, was 4 under on his round. He was 3 under for the tournament, and then he doubled number 2, which was his 11th. And was quite honestly lucky to do that because he basically looked like a high handicapper. He just was going from one piece of rough to the next. And I mean, the Oakmont teeth right now are just absolutely nuts. It's nuts. The question is just going to be, I promise you're not going to see a score better than the one Spaun shot yesterday with the 66. You're not going to have anywhere in the vicinity of that. It's going to be, unless the rain just entirely slows it down. But to Tim May's point, when we had him on, that's also going to make the rough even more tricky if you land in it. And these guys are in it all the time. And the reason for that, of course, is the slope. And that when they land one in the fairway, it scoots right into the rough. And then they're buried. So this has been a brute of a day, a brute of a morning already at Oakmont over in Pittsburgh. Final hour of the week, time for What We Learned. Hit it, boys.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Lots of good stuff this week. I think probably the most newsworthy stuff, and a lot of it is, things that we knew or things that we thought we knew, was Ross's availability yesterday when he touched on, the efforts that he is going to have and continue to evolve with the stadium and how that is something that's just going to be a perpetual issue for them. And in trying to get the video boards and the ribbons and the speakers and all of that stuff, that can't happen until 2026. I really appreciated his candor on Big Noon and the effort that he went into to try to get that changed, understanding that his hands are tied. So that was kind of I think we've been preparing you for that. Once Texas vetoed moving the game to Sunday, that probably Penn State would be headed that direction as well. I think we did a decent job of preparing you for that. But to hear the athletic director of Ohio State say, we've carried water for this, and at the same time, there's not a whole lot we can do about it, was a tough pill to swallow.
So I'm seeing right now the Triple Option podcast that's got Urban on it. Brett Yormark is on the most recent edition of it.
Of course,
advocating for a 5+11 college football playoff format. Where is Tony Petitti on any of this?
Where is he at all?
Right?
I saw him in Amanda Kristovich's
There was a still of him
shot.
on a Zoom call, and we all know through the pandemic how easy those things are to manipulate.
I've not seen him. I have not heard a quote from. I've not read or heard a quote from Tony Petitti in months. Months.
Tony Petitti should be on a milk carton.
He had a statement about the House versus NCAA thing, but so did everybody else.
No, I mean, he does not participate in open dialogue with his constituency. Doesn't.
It just
we
goes.
just don't see it. I mean, we just don't.
The point of like Ross Bjork having to stump for Ohio State, to stump for the brand, to stump for the Big Ten. It's enough for Bjork and Ryan Day to stump for Ohio State. Stop asking them to do the yeoman's work for the conference, because the conference commissioner is non-existent in any of this. Like I hear he's doing backroom deals, and that's fine.
Okay,
but
great. Look forward to it.
Right. What is that? Because I think Ross said something to as much yesterday about Petitti where he's involved, but if you've got to ask a question, I don't think that means you're doing your job adequately.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks is we are a week removed from Ryan Day having to go out and be the voice for 4 automatic bids. And then it makes him look silly because it doesn't affect him. We don't need an auto bid at Ohio State. Ryan Day doesn't need an auto bid. He's getting in it every year. But he had to do it because he's the only one. Ohio State is the only one with a voice right now because Michigan can't even carry their own damn water. They're under investigation. Nobody wants to hear what Sharon Moore has to say about anything. So they're on the sidelines. There's nobody else willing to fight, and so Ohio State has to do the fighting for the entire league on a regular basis. We saw Ryan do it last week. We saw Ross do it yesterday.
Would you rather have Tony Petitti or Kevin Warren?
Petitti. Warren got us into this mess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Warren's fingerprints all over the mess that is Texas-Ohio State Big Noon kick. 6 straight Big Noon kicks for the Buckeyes last season.
He also canceled the football season.
Well, there's that.
Sounds like that's something you're never going to forgive him for.
He was hopeful that other lemmings would jump off the cliff, and instead the lemmings did what they followed the other lemming off the cliff, and that was
Follow me
Sankey.
into the breach. No.
Yeah, they went with Sankey, and they said, actually, I think we're going to try and play. And the Big Ten said, and then Justin Fields is on, the Today Show having to stump for it. So, yeah, Kevin Warren got a lot of praise for this television deal because of it was an NFL model of it, and you're on network television. And I think that there was a great deal of correct praise that landed at his feet for it. It was a new way to look at it. There's no question that it has worked for the league in terms of 1 through 18 now. But it does not work for Ohio State. Does not. And you're having to play every big game you ever play here at noon, and there's fatigue. There's fatigue. So that was kind of the big one for me this week was getting to hear from Ross.
I don't know if the numbers will reflect. I hope they do, but the Stanley Cup final has delivered with moments. With so many games in an NHL season, the length, all of it can, for a casual observer or for someone who only watches championship matches, championship games, it's a lot to invest in. But when you can provide moments like Leon Draisaitl in what would it have been game 2 and then in game 4 with overtime winners. 1 and 4. I mean, the shot he made last night, he had one hand on a defender, the other was on his stick, and the puck goes into the net is exactly what the NHL needs because it's on TNT and Max. I think the entire crew last night did a great job. Even weaving in Taylor Swift, I thought was good for Jackie Redmond to do a little bit, and then even the Panthers in the arena did some of it. So it's all been great because they've delivered on big moments. And again, I hope for the health of the sport that the numbers can reflect that a little bit.
I don't know if you can do anything about this, but does it do anything for them that big moment happened at 11:30 on a Thursday night?
The next day can get some buzz, but you're right.
Yeah, I mean, this goes to the, game time tip, puck drops, all this. It's a war we fight all the time, right? This 8:30, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock stuff. I mean, it really hampers the East Coast.
Yes.
And they've just been doing it this way for the longest time. And it's, I think it's something that in all seriousness, I think it's something that needs to be addressed now more than ever, because this isn't 1986 where there was only 3 channels and 18 channels on cable, and you had to watch something and you had to watch it live. It's not that. There's a million different distractions that people have, and to me, you have got to finish these things before 11 o'clock in the East. You've got to get these things in the bag by 11 o'clock in the East, because otherwise I just think it's too damn late. Anybody who works, it's just not enough. And so, yeah, I think that part of it sucks, D. I think you're right.
Yeah. What I learned about 5 minutes ago is that my take about Russell Westbrook was, according to Conrad in the YouTube chat, easily the worst Russell Westbrook take he has ever heard. And you know what, Conrad? You're not the first person to tell me that the worst take you've ever heard has come out of my mouth. And it probably won't be the last time either. I mean, he's just a polarizing guy, and people either like him or love him. So your opinion about my take being bad, I'm okay with it. Okay.
There's some very average players that are in, like, the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like Russell Westbrook is probably, I mean, he's certainly more deserving than, for example, like Calvin Murphy or Mo Cheeks or Adrian Dantley, Mark Eaton. But it's almost like anybody brings up some of those guys and it's like, oh, they were so great, I saw it. And the reality is, in their mind's eye, maybe they were. Yeah, that was. I didn't have a problem with the stat chaser part. Worst player to get into the Hall of Fame, though. That a little bit of pushback on that one. We will go around the NFL coming up next. Zach Taylor on a surreal week down in Cincinnati, and an NFL team following reportedly a path that I think the Bengals ought to follow. We will get to that as well coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
This just in from the Lindsay Honda Newsroom. It's our big anniversary sale. 0% for up to 60 months has been extended on all new Hondas. Try the new 2025 CR-V LX all-wheel drive with 0% financing.
Lower your rate, lower your payment.
Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas when you buy now.
With so many Hondas, why would you go anywhere else?
Shop the big, the beautiful Lindsay Honda now. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off, plus no interest, no payments for 12 months, and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Celebrate Father's Day and update your lawn with a little help from Ohio Mulch. Whether it's fresh mulch, rich soil, or expert lawn care products, a beautiful landscape, well, it begins with Ohio Mulch. Right now, get 5 bags of mulch or soil for just $10.95. Make your weekend project easier in the yard. Well, it'll be the envy of the block. Visit OhioMulch.com or stop by your local store. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from your friends at Ohio Mulch.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
Many of us are starting our summer breaks with big plans for rest and relaxation. But we also need to make plans to support our students' learning while they're out of class. Read with your kids. Play games that reinforce math skills. When we make sure learning never stops, we can help our kids be ready to succeed when we return to school in the fall.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It's Friday. We have made it to the weekend, and we will see the return of humidity as well as chances for showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. However, if you don't have a shower and a storm, it will be mostly cloudy to even partly cloudy with our highs in the mid-80s. For tonight, lows into the upper 60s with chances of showers and storms, and then we go into the weekend on Saturday with chances of rain in the forecast. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and highs near 80 degrees. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on The Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
And the summer savings are here. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running from June 7th through the 21st with new RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Stop by one of those convenient locations in Delaware, Heath, Pataskla, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. But hurry, these deals will not last long. RCD is your destination for springtime adventure. Find those unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road this summer. There is still plenty of time at rcdrv.com. I saw this from Chris Vanini, then we'll get into the NFL stuff. Momentum is growing for a single transfer portal window in football, and an official recommendation could come as soon as next week. When will it be, January or April? The biggest decision has yet to be made in college football. This is a quote from a coach. The biggest decision that has to be made in college football right now by far. Here's with all of this, $20 million, one transfer portal. Whatever they're going to do with any sort of limiting the freedom of the player, will any of this hold up in a court of law?
No.
You know why? Because all it takes is one guy to do what the kid from Wisconsin did last year and said, yeah, I'm just going to go to Miami. Well, wait a second. We didn't release you from your scholarship. It's not the portal. And I'm leaving. The other thing it's going to do is if a student can transfer to any any school it wants whenever it wants to transfer, then the same has to be true of an athletic player on scholarship. If your kid has a math scholarship to Ohio State,
hell yeah,
and decides after 2 years that they want to transfer to Virginia, there's nobody saying you can't do it. You can do it whenever you want. This is always the hitch and the giddy up for any sort of big plans they have to limit the movement or the freedom of players. Do you have the same rights as every other student on campus? And if the answer to that is no, you lose in the court of law. So this is all just nonsense. It'll all lose. It's all Band-Aids on a hemorrhage, one after another, until they want to do something very real about it. There's just no scenario where any of it becomes permanent. It just doesn't. So, it'll be there for a while. They'll make a big deal about it. You'll have coaches saying, this is great. We have one portal. It's in December. It's in April or whenever they want to do it. But the reality is as soon as it gets challenged, it'll lose. And that's just what we see repeating over and over again. The Cincinnati Bengals were losers this week. They were. This was a brutal week for them. Their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, left camp over a contract dispute over some really nonsensical stuff in his contract. All Stewart wants is what the Cincinnati Bengals gave their first-round pick last year and what everybody in the NFL gives their first-round picks. And the Bengals are trying to prove a point with some esoteric language that's in this contract. Stewart and his group are all over it and said, this ain't right. He said, this ain't right this week, and he left. Zach Taylor was available yesterday. Here he is on Shamar Stewart missing camp.
I think for all the rookies, you'd like them to be on the field, but certainly there's things that happen over the course of an NFL career, and this is one of them right now. So he's been in the meetings. He's been positive in that way. He's been learning. He's been a good learner, and we look forward to getting him back on the field quickly.
Zach's in such a tough spot because it's just about ownership. So they don't have Stewart there. They don't have Hendrickson either. Here's Zach on that.
I agree with what he said yesterday. This is a positive in some ways because so many guys have gotten so many reps and they've been able to cross-train. And so it's been really good for guys as we build that depth. Guys are fighting for opportunity. In that way, it's been a very positive thing. I think Al and our staff has done a great job, especially on that side of the ball, practicing with intent every single day, the install, with what we're trying to achieve, holding the guys accountable. And the players have really bought in, and that's been exciting for me to see.
It's just not the real truth. You can do that with Hendrickson. You can't say that about Stewart. It's good for other guys. We're cross-training in the NFL at defensive end. Right? They don't do that at Pick Central. You're the Cincinnati Bengals, for God's sakes. You're cross-training, and that's a positive? No, there's no positive to your first-round pick not being there, fellas.
It's incredible that I was just... The reporting on this has been pretty interesting. So Paul Dehner Jr. covers the Bengals for The Athletic, and he says it's his understanding they're offering Stewart the same language in this case as the majority of first-round contracts. For reference, teams have offered the exact same language of the pick before and after Stewart. So 16 and 18 respectively got similar language in the contract.
But what the Bengals are offering Stewart?
That's his reporting.
According to Dehner. Okay.
To his understanding. But the idea that Walter Nolan and Gray Zabel, I think Zabel was North Dakota State. Shamar Stewart was a 5-star prospect who played defensive end at Texas A&M. Remember how much NIL money Texas A&M was giving athletes to come to Allen or to Texas A&M? This is a thing for Stewart where it's not about the money. It's about the precedent that he doesn't want to be the guy to set for this because it's the first time the Bengals have done or tried to do this. And it's gross when you add it on to what they've said about Trey Hendrickson, where he should just be thankful for whatever we offer him. It's like, this guy led the NFL in sacks last year. Like, there should be some gratitude applied, I think, to what Hendrickson did, especially when they told him last year they'd get the contract thing done, and they sat on their hands with it.
Yeah, they did it with Jamar, too.
To go back to the original sound, though, and Bo brought it up a little bit, saying that the absence of Hendrickson's okay because other people could get reps, not with Stewart. Stewart, when he was drafted, it's not like he was in the Abdul Carter type of tier where he's going to just be plug and play day one, boom. This was supposed to be, he got drafted in the first round based off of his potential. If there's any one person on the whole Bengals roster that needs reps, it's probably Shamar Stewart. You're right. You drafted him at a position of need. You're supposed to be, you think, a Super Bowl contender this year. He's someone late in the year that you need to be huge for you, and this is what you're doing with him. It's I don't even have words for it. It's just irresponsible.
And the Dehner reporting is different than the other reporting I've read on this.
Yes, he's the only one with that reporting.
Yeah, I haven't seen that anywhere else. I haven't seen that from Schefter or the other folks because we had Petraglia on and we have Jay Morrison on, and I haven't seen that reporting from their side of things. So I'd be curious. Look, no one's going to get that contract physically.
That's the one that was thing,
offered, like to know. And my hunch is it's just all nuance nonsense is what this is about. And quite honestly, no matter what the reason is or how they feel justified or whatever, this whole thing, I'll just do this. Would this happen in Cleveland?
Probably not.
With a first-round pick? No chance.
No.
No chance. No, they're in. And you're not worrying about this in Cleveland. You're not worrying about this in Pittsburgh. You're not worrying about this in Baltimore. Like, most places don't do this. This is a very Bengals thing to happen. And I actually have a solution to it. I saw this morning. The Chicago Bears are considering selling a minority stake of the Bears. So a couple of years ago, the NFL passed this rule that allowed for minority investment in NFL teams to venture capital type groups. So what this allows for you to do, and this happened in Vegas, that's all of a sudden how Tom Brady became a minority owner, and then there was another financial group that became a minority owner. This allows for a massive influx of cash into an organization that needs it. Because if you are the Davis family, the Brown family, the Spanos family with the Chargers, you're not liquid. You're worth a lot, but you're not necessarily liquid. Like the Haslams are liquid. They sold Pilot Flying J. That's liquidity. The guys, the Walmart heirs who own Denver, that's liquidity. That's liquid. They're not. This is what you're worth because your team is worth a lot. So what this allows you to do is sell 10% of the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals are probably worth $3 billion or maybe even more than that. 10% of $3 billion. All of a sudden, that's an injection of cash. So like when you see this with the Bears, the first thing I think is they're having a hell of a time getting that stadium done. They can't tell if they're going to go northern suburbs, they're going to go downtown. They're dealing with city government, state government, municipality governments. Now, all of a sudden, if they sell a percentage of the Bears and get $500 million in cash, okay, now this is a little easier prospect for us. We're not as dependent on public funds to get this done, and we can actually do what we want. This law, this new rule that the NFL put in, this is built for the Bengals. This allows them to not have these circumstances that they're having, where they come across looking the way that they are. This should have been the best offseason ever for them. They got everybody kept, and I think they're going to keep Hendrickson too, and instead they've had this distraction now for a couple of weeks, and it really came to a head this week down in Cincinnati. Time for a little Doug Lesmerises. He joins in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, bonjour, good boy. Oh, bonjour. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real UDF ice cream. Made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes. New from United Dairy Farmers.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Excuse me, did someone say jackpot? The Ohio Lottery's Mega Millions jackpot is up to $264 million. You heard that right, $264 million. Jackpots start at $50 million and grow faster than ever. And drawings are every Tuesday and Friday. With the new built-in multiplier, all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times. Play Mega Millions today.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Friday, 11:30. Let's get smarter. Doug Lesmerises on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. He's Kings of the North, of course, with Bill Landis, and he joins us there. We had a pretty revealing direct press conference yesterday from Ross Bjork, and last week I think we talked about Ryan Day fighting the fight about 4 guaranteed spots and all of that. If you could throw a banana in Mr. Fusion and hop in your DeLorean and go back and change one decision that the Big Ten made over the last decade, where does your head go first?
Not taking Rutgers? No. I'm just
no.
kidding.
That's it. I think that might be it. That might be it.
It's difficult because I sort of liked the idea of the separation from ESPN at the time, right? And the idea that you're going to go to 3 networks and you're going to kind of do that. But as ESPN has now become in lockstep with the SEC, ESPN controls the playoff. And you now with your partners can't play your big time games when you want to play them. I know a lot of Ohio State fans over time were kind of often frustrated with ESPN, but maybe you look I feel like they separated from ESPN, but then didn't do the things that would make a separation from ESPN good, right? They separated from ESPN and now are kind of wandering in the woods. So maybe you go back and say, you know what, let's ride with those guys. They're the big dogs in college football. They're kind of making policy. We want them on our side. And then, the SEC can play at 3:30 on CBS, but we're with ESPN, right? Would you do that?
Yeah. I think the big thing that nobody thought about, and I was like you, okay, network windows, that's pretty good. I mean, NFL model, network windows. I think 2 things happened. I think number 1, you didn't read the fine print on how much control the first window would have. Yeah. How much control Fox has over it. And I don't know if they didn't read the fine print of it or they were just like, hey, this is a lot of money. Let's just sign it. No matter what, just sign it. And if that was it, who knows? And then I think the other thing is there was very little thought to, if Fox is going to pick first, the first 3 picks, they're going to pick Buckeyes every time. And the amount of water that Ohio State has to carry in that relationship, I don't think anybody saw coming. And so there is no solution to this, as Ross said yesterday. There's really not much we can do. They're going to be in this spot till 2029. Penn State's going to be noon. That's the way it's going to be. So it's almost like you can't deal with it till then. And it feels to me like they didn't read the full brochure in terms of what they were signing up for. And
also just living in a world where everybody's friends. We'll figure it out. We're all friends in this. We're working together. We're partners. And as we all see Ohio State making this move, right? I think it's partially a change in AD. I think it's much more a change in the foundation of college sports. But Ohio State's less interested in being friendly than it once was. And so now you're locked in to the friendly neighborhood contract in a much more look out for yourself kind of world. The only thing, and I'm not trying to rabble-rouse here on the air, Bo. That's not what we do here.
No, not at all.
But so you're locked in until 2029. But if Ohio State started saying you know what, if everyone's going to be a jerk to us, we're done. We don't have to be in the Big Ten. Don't come back to us. Don't expect this is it. We get it. We signed it. But if you're not going to work with us and you're going to say sorry, you signed it, then just so you know, we're done. That's it. It's been a nice run. We're going to look out for ourselves. You know who gets to play night games? Notre Dame. Because they're a one-man conference. So, I don't know what that would do. So just because you can't do something now doesn't mean you can't say things that would affect now, right? Or is that too far?
No, I think all of it should be on the table. I mean, as you and I know, been around the program in the athletic department for a long time, that's the opposite of the way their tact has been for the whole time I've covered the program, and you predate me by a couple of years. They have gone out of their way to be good partners. Just completely. I mean, it's not just Big Noon. This isn't just a Big Noon thing. The reality is, and you do Kings of the North, you know this, there are a bunch of brands in this league that can't carry water. They just can't. Right. And so they can't play at noon. They're really not attractive at 3:30. They're not that attractive in primetime either. And quite honestly, it's a steady diet of games that ought to be BTN. And so they need somebody else to lift them up. So then the thing that makes this even more tricky is if you do like and I want to get to this because we did this earlier in the week based off of Urban's comments about the USC job. If you rank the best jobs in the Big Ten or you rank the best brands in the Big Ten, those 4 schools, and it was kicking and screaming to add Oregon and Washington, they're better than the majority of this league from a branding standpoint, Doug. They just are. There's some dogs in this league.
And if Nebraska's not going to be Nebraska, right? And if Michigan State's not going to be Michigan State, and Indiana had an awesome season on the field last year, but how long would it take for Indiana football to be a brand, not just a good football team, but a brand, right? Could Illinois get there, right, if they become Chicago's team and Bielema's got a little cachet, but that's not going to happen overnight. So, I mean, that's the part of this that is real. And again, with all the discussions when we talk about this, there's how good you are, and then there's how popular you are, how big your brand is. And the first clearly affects the second, but it's not the same thing.
No.
And so you can look at, and that's the thing, I get mad when I think people disrespect the Big Ten and the North for how good the teams are, right? I think Illinois is better than you think. I think Indiana was better than people realized last year. Like all those things. That's a football discussion.
Yep.
Even me on Kings of the North, I can't sit here and be like, oh, man, Bo, come on. Purdue, huge brand. Come on. They got a train. They got the world's biggest base drum. What are we talking about? Because that's a brand discussion, and that's obvious to everybody.
Yeah, and I think like nobody predicted that Wisconsin would kind of slip the way that it has, both on the field in terms of your point of is this a good football program anymore? And then from a brand standpoint, they had an identity at least. And the big one, of course, they missed on was Nebraska. Right. That was they bought a museum there. And then to not give them dance partners in their vicinity, which is something I was always big on with USC and UCLA, is you have to give them dance partners. I felt that way about Nebraska. Okay, you bring in Nebraska. Well, good Lord, go get Oklahoma and Texas and Oklahoma State, whoever, too. Like, give them some people that are familiar. And I think we saw that last year. Like, the Big Ten's insistence on, oh, no, we're all the same. Like, let's not have Ohio State play USC year one. Let's not do that. Why would you not do that? Why would you not play the hits? Why would you not have those 4 West Coast schools all play each other every year, Doug?
And I do think,
and they don't.
If we're really going in the Wayback Machine of what's the thing you would change for the Big Ten, the idea that now we've kind of dispatched with geography as we have dispatched with geography as a requirement for conferences, right? That was it's an antiquated notion, but even like 8 years ago, we still kind of thought that. It was like, well, Nebraska's not that far. Rutgers isn't that far. If you could get Texas in the Big Ten, and there clearly was that idea and discussion, and if you had went hard for that, and now Texas is no longer in the league it was in traditionally, and if you're talking about brands, like you're okay in Southern California, but you didn't bring in Texas. If you had Texas in the Big Ten, game changer. Like a lot of this goes away if Texas was here. And maybe there was a chance for that to happen.
There was a chance for that to happen based on conversation. And I know you know this too, but like, yes, Texas, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, bring them those 4 in. Everybody has a dance partner. Everybody has rivals. It's familiar, but yet there's some new. We can work with that. I can work with that. I can work with the 4 West Coast teams. I don't have to love it, but let them all play each other so that Oregon plays USC, UCLA, and Washington every year. Like, it's ridiculous that they don't do that, to not play the hits. It's painful. The USC thing I want to ask you about, because Urban was on with Colin Cowherd and talking about the USC job. Is USC a top 5 job for you? There was a time I think it was for sure. I'm not so sure anymore. And is it more important for USC to be good? Is it more important for USC to be good for the Big? Does the Big Ten need USC to be good more than USC needs the Big Ten?
I mean, Oregon has taken so much of their juice, and this is one of those things as we work through this new era of NIL. It's, well, you're in a big city. Is that an advantage, or are you better off being in a place where there's not so much competition and the college football team is the big dog, right? Mm-hmm. But I think still probably the Big Ten needs USC more than USC needs the Big Ten. Because, but I mean, the hard part of this is if USC hadn't fallen off a cliff, the Pac-12 still might exist.
Yes.
Right? That's how important they were. But you lost your anchor program. And it's not because they left. It's because they didn't matter anymore. Mm-hmm. And so in that reality, there is just there's more time zone discussion here than you would think you get into, because they still can't play at noon. So it's not going to solve Ohio State's big noon problem for USC to be good. But man, you add a good USC in. I mean, that's the top 6 brands in the Big Ten, right? Is there any? Yeah. I mean, there's the top 5, right? It's Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, and then USC if USC's good.
Yes.
And then I guess Nebraska, if Nebraska's good, would be 6. So that seems like that's a potential game changer that is lying dormant. I mean, if you had Will Ferrell, Snoop Dogg, and Pete Carroll in the Big Ten, does that matter? Heck yes, that matters. Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush in the Big Ten, does that matter? Keyshawn Johnson in the Big Ten, does that matter? Heck yes, that matters, but it feels so far away. We're 20 years since the game of the century, 05 USC Texas. 20 years, Bo. It's ancient history to a lot of fans. But, man, if that's what you get back, that matters a ton to the Big Ten.
It's crazy to think, and we got to run, but it's crazy to think how he had Caleb Williams and a Heisman year 1, and you thought that was going to be the low point. Yeah, it was all going to go up from there, and they can't find their way. So love it. Great talk as always, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. I'll see you.
There he goes, Doug Lesmerises, King of the North, with Bill Landis on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. 3 things on a Friday coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Are you ready for 971 The Race? It all goes down Saturday, June 21st.
Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
T-Bone, Reeser, Tyvus, and Common Man request your presence. 971therace.com. Do it.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets and be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what are on the poll today?
The Daily Fan poll asks, since we're about halfway through the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final, both series are back and forth. Daily Fan poll asks, which two teams do you have winning the respective championships? Your options: Oilers Pacers, Oilers Thunder, Panthers Pacers, Panthers Thunder. 40% say the Panthers and the Pacers will win Lord Stanley's Cup and the Larry O'Brien Trophy, and then 27% say Oilers and Pacers. 21% say Panthers and Thunder, but 10% just for the Oilers and Thunder.
And then we had one, would Bob be willing to give his life to win a 9.71K?
Yes, if challenged to a 6-mile run, would Bobby Carpenter be willing to run himself to death? 88% of respondents say yes. If properly challenged and properly motivated, the will of the general would be strong enough to where he'd finish, or he'd get close and maybe die trying.
Die trying. All right, time for three things on a Friday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number one for me. Do you guys remember the name Jake Garcia?
No.
High-profile quarterback out of Southern California. Before his senior year of high school, transfers to Valdosta, Georgia. I think initially was considering going to the University of Georgia, but transfers to Valdosta, Georgia, is ruled ineligible. His parents moved, but kind of didn't, had an apartment, and so in the middle of that season, they had to forfeit games, and he ended up withdrawing from Valdosta, which is the winningest high school team in the country. So this was years ago. All right. He has just been crystal balled as a transfer to the University of Michigan. If you're curious his path, he inevitably ends up, I want to say he was initially committed to Georgia. He ends up signing with Miami, throws 14 passes in 2021, 114 passes in 2022, and mop-up duty, and that's it. Last year, sits out 2023 entirely. 2024, he's at ECU, completes 60% of his passes, 14, 26, 8 touchdowns, 12 picks. This was on ESPN. His parents were on ESPN. It's a huge story when he transferred to California to Valdosta to try to circumvent some things. the pasture isn't always greener. And we talk so much about these guys where it's a home run and they, you transfer to here and it all works. There are a lot of these stories like this Jake Garcia kid that go unnoticed where they're perpetually moving and never find their way.
It also feels like the New York Knicks will never find their way. I piggyback off of that to say that Magic Johnson was on ESPN yesterday advocating for New York to pick up Kevin Durant. They'd have to make a trade for him. The Knicks don't have a head coach. They fired Tom Thibodeau, and without really any plan for a serious replacement. They've been told no by 3 different NBA teams. Recently, they went down to Arkansas to interview John Calipari, who also told them no.
Yeah.
Mike Brown is the betting favorite right now, former Cavs head coach.
Woof.
Good luck with that.
Jeez, that's brutal. How much money has he made off of all of that?
Lots.
Like Mike Brown. Tens of millions.
My first thing is wiffle ball. So yesterday I went up to my parents' house. My daughter was there. My mom was watching her, and she was also watching one of my nieces and one of my nephews all at the same time. God bless her. So I took them outside to get them out of my mom's hair, and we played wiffle ball. And this is the first time I played with my 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to pitch to me. And I said, this kind of ties into the crosstalk conversation you had with Bone and Tyvis.
Yeah.
She threw me a meatball and I hit it into the woods behind my parents' house, and she cried.
That's okay.
But yeah, I feel like that is what's needed. And then I went and got her and I said, look, if you don't want me to hit the ball into the woods, don't throw me a meatball like that ever again. Good. And then I let her go up against my nephew who's 11, and she was, he was whiffing and she was hitting line drives off of him. So nice. I was proud of her, but it was like that's the kind of father I want to be.
You're doing it right.
Yes.
You're doing it right.
I appreciate you co-signing my decision to take my 6-year-old yard in the backyard.
You have to. You got to let them know that there's a pecking order. Yeah. Number 2 for me, I think the thing that would be craziest for these professional golfers playing at a place like Oakmont is the mental flip from going, every time you approach a par 4, let's go make 3. But worst case scenario, I'm going to make 4. And I can walk away fine, too. At Oakmont, 3 is almost impossible. And 4 is, you're really happy with 4. And 5's not the worst. And I imagine that hurdle is so significant because for every hole they go on in their life on a par 4, they're staring at that tee box. They're going, I'm going to go make 3. And you're not doing it here. And so mentally to be able to be like, 5's okay. 4's great. That flip has got to be such a challenge for them. That's what I think is so fascinating about the U.S. Open.
Along with the chaos at Oakmont tomorrow, which you can watch on NBC, ABC is going to be airing the UFL Championship game. It'll be in St. Louis. In case you forgot that the UFL was still doing a thing. DC Defenders are taking on the Michigan Panthers.
I don't know if that's working or not.
So
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I tell you, they need a partnership with the NFL because there's a lot of NFL quarterbacks, young guys who need snaps, and they need to send them there to get snaps. Yeah.
That's a great idea, but I didn't even think about that. But yeah, unless they do something like that, I don't think spring football will ever work. My second thing, so I went through the Wendy's drive-thru late last night, and I don't know if to take this as a compliment or if I need to stop eating so much fast food. So my order, I go in and I say, hey, can I get a biggie bag with the junior bacon cheeseburger plain with barbecue sauce for the nuggets and the Coke? And the Wendy's worker said, thank you so much for acting like you've ordered food here before. And I was like, you're welcome, I guess. I don't know. When you have someone in the passenger seat that doesn't know what they want, it's kind of annoying. And they have to deal with that like 100 times a day. So I guess I kind of felt where he was coming from after he said that. But I was like, do I have a Wendy's problem or am I just good at ordering food and people need to just figure out what they want? We're at a Wendy's. We're not at an expensive steakhouse. You should know what your order is at these more common fast food restaurants.
It's a good job out of you. Finally, quick one for me. Just happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. It's a great weekend. Hopefully the rain, you can avoid it a little bit and get outside with the kids and enjoy yourself. But happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yeah, it's a real good life lesson. Know what you're ordering every time you go through a drive-thru. The Fan ordered up some Sports Saturday. The Spectacular tomorrow from 10 to 1 after Tee to Green. Dane Sensenbacher and I will be entertaining you, or at least attempting to entertain you, as you get that honeydew list checked off tomorrow morning.
Third thing for me, stay tuned for Rothman and Ice. They're going to have Jensen Lewis joining them from the Men's College World Series.
Oh, that's fun. There you go. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Father's Day. We are back on Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Tinny.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle, and expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
When was the last time you had your plumbing inspected? Small issues such as tiny leaks or old water heaters can quickly turn into big problems if they're not caught early. Take action with Logan Services and schedule a free plumbing safety inspection to help keep your home running smoothly. Schedule your free inspection now and experience the fast, friendly service you've come to expect from Logan Services.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Trust. It's something we all value, but also something that's hard to earn, especially when it comes to your home. In a city like Columbus with so many contractors to choose from, how do you know who to trust with one of your biggest investments? At Newman Roofing, we believe trust starts with character and continues with consistent results. As a family-owned and operated company, we built our reputation on hiring good people, value-driven professionals who treat your home with the same care and respect they'd give their home. Our team is committed to delivering a true white glove experience. That means paying attention to the details, communicating clearly, and doing the job right the first time. We use only the highest quality products, installed with precision and backed by proven techniques. That's how we ensure you'll feel confident not just today, but for years to come. And we don't just ask you to take our word for it. With over 770 5-star reviews on Google, you can read story after story from homeowners just like you who trusted Newman Roofing and had their expectations exceeded. When it comes to roofing, gutters, or siding, call the local company built around family, values, and integrity. Newman Roofing. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty here. Light up the night with Glow Motion, the all-new flavor from 5 Hour Energy. It's a fruity burst in a bottle that glows under UV light. Glow Motion has as much caffeine as a premium cup of coffee and 0 sugar. Just what you need to stay up celebrating your team winning a championship. And at only 2 ounces, it's perfect for runners, ravers, and anyone who refuses to stop. So whether you're dancing, gaming, or just flexing your vibe, Glow Motion shines. Literally, 5 Hour Energy Glow Motion is available online.